myself again. But it's the only...
Good evening and welcome to NUFC Matters. I am going to try and put a smiley face on it, but I've got to be honest, I'm not looking forward to this whatsoever. It's match day live. Newcastle United take on Leeds United at St James's Park in the Premier League. It's got a feeling of Groundhog Day, another car crash of a week. With Steve Bruce coming out with all kinds of garbage, and then the announcements are flying around pre-match about the lineups and the rumours and stuff that's coming out of the dressing room and leaks that are coming out have said we'll probably go 5 at the back, and here's our lineup. So as always, I'm joined by a group of fellow fans to suffer the match in misery with me and you watching in the chat. The lineup is Darlow in goal. We have Murphy, Hayden, Shaw. Captaining the team, as always, is Lascelles, Lewis, Shelby, Hendrick. Yes, I know. Almiron, Fraser and Wilson. On the bench, we've got Dubravka, Matty Longstaff, Andy Carroll, Joe Linton, St Maximin, Richie, Gale, Kraft and Manquillo. For Leeds United, the visitors, who, it has to be said, are on a sticky run of form, as were Aston Villa at the weekend. So best club to play when you're on a bad run of form, Newcastle, of course. Meslier, Alioski, Cooper, Lorente, Ayling, Phillips, Dallas, Rafinha, Rodrigo, Harrison and Bamford. Strong lineup there for Leeds. Casilla, Davis, Strulk, Klitsch, Shackleton, Costa, Roberts, Hernandez and Poveda on the bench. So, Chris, what do you make of that lineup? And we were talking off air before we came on. I really cannot believe that John Joe Shelby and Jeff Hendrick, who I did defend at the start of the season, I've got to be honest, are in that team, because if there's a more pedestrian midfield than that in the Premier League, I've yet to see it. I really can't believe that lineup. I really can't. I don't know where to start with it. What's your take on it, Chris?
Yeah, if in that photo Lascelles was on the other side, he'd be pointing right to the midfield in that photo, because that central midfield is just, it's horrid. I mean, there's nothing there. We don't get anything out of Shelby and Hendrick, and so you wonder with that lineup whether Steve Bruce is playing like he's trying to get sacked, because he doesn't want to resign because he wants to get that the payout. But that lineup. Sean Longstaff on the bench, Matty Longstaff in the lineup. It's just, Matty Longstaff on the bench, Sean Longstaff not in the lineup. You just wonder where goals coming from. Like, who's going to feed up to Callum Wilson? Obviously he stopped riding Joe Linton as a starter. But it's sad, it's pathetic. It's unbecoming of a Newcastle manager. There was some Talk Sport that some pundits were saying we've got the players, we just don't have the manager and the tactics and the strategy. And so I would say, yeah, we've got a squad that should be good enough to stay at. But with Steve Bruce at the helm, he's just driving us into the ground.
Yeah, Shane. I know when you've come on these beanbacks and talkbacks that we actually do. You've often said I really can't be chewed with this tonight, and I've got to be honest, mate. I think it's catching, because I genuinely can't be chewed with this tonight. I've grown about it now, and it's not the actual being on with you guys. That's the enjoyable part. It's the actual sitting watching Newcastle play, and we shouldn't be like that. It's a football team which I've supported since 1984. I shouldn't be, I should be dying to go to the games. I've got to be perfectly honest. This is one of those games where if I met up with a group of me mates who I tend to meet up with, who I grew up with watching Newcastle United, and we had one too many prior to the game, I've got to be honest, I would probably not have gone to this game today. I'd probably end up just staying in the pub and watching it on the TV and giving up my ticket. That's the kind of game this is, and that's what this regime and that's what this kind of football has done to Newcastle fans who are the life and blood of the club. But what's your take on that lineup today?
I've got to be honest with you, Steve. I think getting my arsehole waxed is going to be more fun than watching this tonight. It's just absolutely atrocious. I watched the game on Saturday, and I was kind of hoping that Villa would score first, and they did score first, just so I could go to sleep. I turned off with the Villa game when it was 1-0, turned off with the Arsenal game when it was 2-0. I mean, if you look at teams, and I'm not talking about the teams in the top four, even West Ham, Fulham, Southampton, even if they go 1 goal down or 2 goals down, you still feel there's a chance of them getting back into the match. But you just know with Newcastle, as soon as we concede first, that is it, we're fucked. And how Shelby's back in the team, how Hendrick's back in the team, I just don't understand it. I mean, there was talk this week about us getting Bournemouth's number 2. I don't know what that means. I think that's a ploy of getting Steve Bruce out without paying him, maybe. I know that Ashley's quoted apparently that Steve Bruce is going to be with us until the end of the season, which is just another fucking joke, to be honest with you. But you look at teams around us, like West Brom, they got a result against Wolves. They were unfortunate to lose against West Ham. You've got Fulham, who are picking up points. You've got Burnley, who beat Liverpool. And you look at Newcastle and you think, although we're on 19 points, how did we accumulate 19 points? And where the points going to come from? It's just looking really, really bleak. I know that Leeds haven't scored in the last 3 games. I can't see them not scoring tonight. I know they're going to go around and do a score prediction in a little bit, but I can see us getting absolutely fucking walloped. We just look absolutely terrible. Against Arsenal, we did nothing. Against Villa, for what I saw for the first 15 minutes, we just looked like a fucking joke. And it's the same thing week in, week out. It doesn't even change the tactics. We're going five at the back once again. It looks like a tactical fuck up, and I'm just not going to enjoy it. I mean, I was debating coming on this show or not because I just can't be asked anymore, if I'm being completely honest, because it's getting to the point where I love watching Newcastle, and I've never missed a match, whether it's on TV or where I can stream it. Since I was about 14, I've always found a way of watching Newcastle, and this is the first time in all my life where I've got to the middle of where I've got to half time or even before half time, and I just don't want to watch it anymore. I just can't be asked. And it's so sad to see that as a football club, the club that I loved when I was growing up, is just turned into this. And I think other pundits have realised that. I know Chris Sutton came out during the week and he was saying the football Newcastle are playing at the moment is awful. So I think the media stance has changed somewhat. I think a lot of people who were on the side of Steve Bruce have finally realised it's just awful. So am I looking forward to it? No. Do I think we'll win? No. But happy days. Let's see what happens, I guess.
Well, Shane, all I want to say is thanks for joining us, mate, because I think maybe if we do get hammered, we might just set our own show up talking about days gone by or something, and whilst the match is on. I think that's what we should all do. It's Anyway, we'll come back to you for a prediction. Liam, good evening.
Hey, Steve, how's it going?
Good, mate. Now, you're in a very lucky position tonight amongst the panel, mate. You're not actually going to be watching the game. So, you're just going to be there for a comment and giving a few comments on different topics that we'll be talking about throughout the night. But, you can still give comment on that lineup, Liam. And Darlow stays in goal. That was one of the questions a lot of people were asking on social media. Should Dubravka get his chance to come back in? Steve Bruce has been a man of his word on that anyway, and stuck with him. The rest of it is a bit of a mismatch. Now, we obviously have injuries. We have issues with COVID still hanging around the club. But Leeds United coming to St James's Park, we shouldn't be scared of facing Leeds United. They're a promoted team. But we are scared, and it looks very much as if we've gone with 5 at the back. And once again, we're playing Callum Wilson, who, no surprise, hasn't managed to notch in over 14 hours now. And, we're going 5 at the back at home. What do you make of that?
Yeah, well, a couple of things that you said was things that I'm going to bring up, actually. The first one I'll say is 5 at the back. That's probably what I'm most annoyed with. I was chatting to my mate before, and I would have loved for us to play 4-3-3 at some point with maybe someone like Almiron playing in the middle as a number 10 and then having one of the Longstaff brothers. And, you know, I think I'd even give Shelby a chance, or if Hayden wanted to play in centre-back. But, yeah, 5 at the back really does annoy me, because I think with the attacking strength that we do have, we can play with 4 defenders, and then we can just try and control possession as much as we can. But clearly Bruce thinks otherwise, and it looks like we are just sort of set up to sit back for this game. In terms of Dubravka, we're in a pretty good position, I think, with goalkeepers. It's not a bad problem to have with which goalkeeper you'd rather start, because obviously Darlow is a very, very good goalkeeper. I believe he still does have the most saves in the Premier League this season. Correct me if that's wrong now, though. And obviously Dubravka was a fantastic goalkeeper last season, and he still showed what he was made of in the FA Cup game against Arsenal. I think personally, I would have probably started Dubravka today, just to see what he's like in the Premier League once again, because, well, we haven't seen him in the Premier League this season, just in the FA Cup against the Premier League side, which was a strong Arsenal side, and like I said, he did very, very well. Isaac Hayden playing as a centre-back, I'm not entirely happy with that, but that just goes down to the 5 at the back once again. I was very surprised to see Jacob Murphy starting as a wing-back or a right-back, or however Steve Bruce will be playing. I would have had him further up the pitch. I would have maybe started someone like Manquillo or Kraft, but I think the main problem is actually the right-back position in this team, because throughout the season, Bruce has been chopping and changing who he's been playing at right back all throughout the season. I saw something on Twitter, I think it was before the Aston Villa game, in the likes of Emil Kraft, Javier Manquillo, Jacob Murphy, they've all been played, and of course DeAndre Edlin as well, how could I forget? They've all been played about 7 or 8 times each in that right back position, so he can't find a suitable right back. And I think this is something that I brought up on the 5-minute rant as well, that we do need a right back who is of quality, who can go up, and of course who can defend as well, but clearly we just don't have that right now. And, you know, I think these guys up front are going to be isolated as well throughout the whole game.
Yeah, I think so. I think you've put that very well, mate. We'll come back to you for a prediction as well. Pete, good evening.
Just get myself off mute. Good evening, guys.
Good to see you, mate. Where do we start with that lineup, mate? It's becoming, you know, the matches are like Groundhog Day. The team selection talk is like Groundhog Day. We could all have half an hour off and just replay the last talk about the team, because it's becoming monotonous now, and just the same old from Steve Bruce. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, and he's just, I just don't understand it.
I love how we go into these games with so much optimism that, you know, he's going to change his stance, and he's going to make these drastic changes of certain players coming in. I saw on our chat today and on Twitter how everyone's got their examples of how it's going to do it in our strongest team. When has Bruce ever put out our strongest team? He just doesn't do it, and I wasn't surprised. I'm not surprised by this. I'm not surprised he's got 5 at the back. I'm not surprised that Shelby and Hendricks started. I'm not surprised by any of it, because this looks like to me that this is Bruce sticking 2 fingers up to the owner, to the fans, and saying, I don't really care anymore. I'll just play who I want to play. And I think that for me is what Bruce is doing right now. The one thing I'll say with regards to the lineup is that it was this time last year, January 2020, where Bruce was out in his press conferences going mad about the fact that he didn't want to play 5 at the back, and how he was adamant that his way was 4 at the back. And it's really strange that a year on, he's still playing and still persisting with 5 at the back, even though we've got the opportunity and the players now to play his way. And that was his argument this time last year. So it just feeds into the fact that Bruce does not have an idea of what he's on about. And he just talks absolute shit from day to day, from press conference to press conference. So, you know, look, I'm not surprised by any of this. We're going to be isolated again up top. We're going to be tired because we've got players that haven't played many minutes. We've got a defence who don't like to defend at the moment, it seems, who can't defend. We're looking at Hayden to be our best centre-back tonight, which says everything you need to know about how we're playing at the moment. We've got a right winger that's playing right wing back again, even though we've got a right wing back or right back who can easily slot in there. It's just an absolute shit show. But last thing I'll say is just well done to Shane. Quality in what he said. I agree with everything he says, and I 100% agree with him. And I'm sure there's plenty of fans, Newcastle fans out there that do as well.
Steve Bruce just caught a little bit of that one ear on Steve Bruce. He's talking heavily about COVID. He's been asked about ESM and asking about the changes, and just more drivel from Bruce, basically. Not a great deal of common sense, but putting the emphasis on COVID, essentially. That is what he is doing. Al-Walid, good evening.
Good evening.
Good to see you. You're usually Mr. Positive with regards to Newcastle United. You can sense, I think, a very, very underwhelmed panel at that team. What's your making of that selection by Steve Bruce tonight?
Actually, I just woke up, and first thing I did, just running to my mobile to see the lineup, and actually it was quite shocking that there is no change. I said to myself, it's apparently Mr. Steve Bruce gloves very small. He took it off, but there is nothing actually new. There is always extra one in the back. I don't know what's the actual rule for him. It's basic. It's easy to take Hendrik out and put Hayden and Shelby are enough with two centre back, and put Saint Maximin except Hendrik, because we see five in the back still didn't give us any favor. We lost how many points? Try for once. Be there for once. If you put Saint Maximin, nobody will blame you. If you have four, Wilson, Fraser, Almiron, I'm very sad about Wilson. Wilson, you will see tonight. He will go back again to the middle area to just collect the ball. Almiron, we will see him more behind the middle line of the field. And it's gonna be mess when if God forbid, if Leeds score one goal, if score first, we will suffering again. Same situation. He will play with the lineup in a ridiculous way, not sense way, and even there is no change in the way of play, style of play. It's the same. It's like I'm seeing now. My eyes on the lineup. I know how they are gonna play, but let's hope that we will gonna take the chances. Sure, we will have some chances, and I hope it's gonna be scored. This will change if we score first.
Still an air of positivity from Al-Walid, which is good. You're maintaining that optimism, which I like to see. But I always say that the day you stopped calling him Mr. Steve Bruce is the day that you lost faith in him. So, Martin, good evening and welcome back to the show. We had you on last night on the 5-minute rant, which was fantastic, and you were plugging your wonderful music, which we've given a little bit of a push again today. Just a little bit about your Newcastle history. We do this when we get new panellists on. When was your first game, Martin?
I think it was the Champions League game in 1998, I think it was.
Yeah, excellent. And
I think Shearer was injured because he had that horrific knee injury.
That's right, the one he got at Goodison Park. So obviously that was in the days of John Barnes and
that's it. John Barnes and Stuart Pearce were playing.
Ian Rush and of course we had John Dahl Thomason, who didn't hit the ground running at all at Newcastle and then went on to win a Champions League medal.
I know, unbelievable, isn't it? That's just us, though, isn't it? Just us.
It is, mate. Well, good to have you on. Good to have you back on.
Thanks for having me.
Give us your take on that lineup there tonight, then.
Oh, it's just rinse and repeat, isn't it? John Joe Shelby, I can't believe he's back in there. What the hell's going on? I mean, when was the last time he had a good game? I mean, He just, those long passes that he used to be known for, he hasn't done one of those for I don't know how long. Yeah, it's just very, very disappointing. I mean, I had a dream last night that we won 4-1. We're not going to with that lineup, that's for sure.
Yeah, sometimes the dreams work out better than the reality.
I know. I think Maximan was on there twice. Wilson and Almiron scored. It was so real, but yeah, it's not going to happen. But that's what happens, though, isn't it? You watch a game, you get so depressing. Right, I'm not going to watch another one. Then match day arrives, and then you start to be a bit optimistic again, don't you? And then, you see a lineup like that, and it just goes out the window again. But yeah,
it's funny. It's funny that you say that, Martin. But and that is the way that we usually feel. We usually have that air of optimism when when the next game comes round. But when we're sitting at home, as we all are with COVID, we're in a situation where life can get on top of you. Different things are going on. We're not getting out of the pandemic any earlier. We're not allowed to go to the games, so we can't vent our usual anger and temper if things aren't going right. Normally, we'd be able to sing and shout and bawl at Mike Ashley and Steve Bruce and whatever. But you can't do that with this situation that we're in, and we're all stuck basically either watching a TV screen or watching a computer screen, and it's really. I think that's why I feel like I do today, Martin. I'm not actually looking forward to this at all. I'm not looking forward to the game at all. If I wasn't doing this tonight, I've got to be perfectly honest, I probably wouldn't actually watch this tonight. And everybody knows how long I've supported Newcastle, and I'm sure that I'm not in a minority. I think there's a lot of people. Shane said it exactly the same tonight. I just think we could all probably, as they used to say on that kids program, Why Don't You, find something less boring to do instead, and then put your foot through the television, because that's how it makes you feel at the moment.
Yeah, well, I was like you. I didn't watch the Villa game on Saturday just because I just thought I don't want to watch that again. I thought I know we're going to get beat, and I don't want to feel like that afterwards. It's just horrible. I mean, I think the longer this goes on in the players' heads as well, I think their confidence is so low. They just think, I just don't think we're capable of winning. There's that, can we even score a goal? We haven't even scored a goal for how long? How many games is it?
Well, we're talking over 14 hours now.
Yeah, so that dip in confidence, it's all psychological as well now. They've got to try and get out that mindset and just think, right, all of us, forget the tactics. It's just all go for it. Forget what Bruce has said. Let's just bloody go for it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, great to have you on. Rich, good evening.
Evening, mate. You all right?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. I presume you've seen the lineup, but if you haven't, I'll flash it on the screen. There you go. Darlow, Murphy, Hayden, Shaw, Lascelles, Lewis, Shelby, Hendrick, Almiron, Fraser, Wilson. I think we've all agreed it's 5 at the back and Wilson up front on his own.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have seen the lineup, and I'm pretty much. I was watching the start of the show, and my thoughts are pretty much the same as everybody else. If it wasn't for the show tonight, I probably wouldn't be turning to watch, to be honest with you. The missus has already said it was today. Why are you going to put yourself through that agony again for another 2.5 hours tonight? But it's what we do, isn't it? We always live on hope, as I mentioned last week. I just don't understand his team selection one bit. It's good that Fraser's back. I do believe he's going to give a bit more attacking threat. But against these, it's a team that can be got at as well. And playing 5 at the back again, it's proved that we've got 2 wins in God knows how many performances now with 5 at the back. It's just we're not going to pick up wins with that. And you've got Everton on Saturday as well. So this is a game we should be really looking to try and get as many points out as possible. And we're not going to do that with 5 at the back. Why we've got Shelby and Hendrick, probably the OAP midfield of NUFC. They've got no, as one of the lads mentioned before, and I was watching. There's just no legs there in there. Why is Matty not in there? He should be fresh. It's just seriously. I think we made Paul Foster posted in the Matters Facebook group that Wheel of Fortune type thing with all the different heads, and I don't know whether you saw it, Steve. And it was like, it's literally whoever the arrow lands on the head, that's who's going to play, and that's pretty much, it looks exactly what he's done again today. I think Murphy coming back at the wing back's a little bit of a positive. He hasn't done too bad when he's played there, but it's it's the hardest thing for me is looking at that bench and thinking there's so many people on that bench that could make such a difference to that starting 11. And unfortunately, we can only make 3 changes, and there's probably about 6 of them that could probably be in that starting lineup, and they should be in that starting lineup, unfortunately.
Yep, okay. The teams are coming out onto the pitch, so let's go around the table and get a quick score prediction from each of the panelists. Chris, you first, mate. Chris, you're on mute, mate. That's it.
Usually one of the optimistic lads around here, but going to say another terrible 4-1 loss.
4-1 defeat, okay. Shane?
If you didn't know the context of the game against Villa, if you saw the players' reactions at the end of the match and you said what time of the year it is, you would have thought that we'd have just been relegated. And to try and turn that confidence round within 72 hours, it's just going to be impossible. Confidence is low. The team looks poor. The tactics, the formation looks poor. All of our attacking players are on the substitute bench. I can't see this being anything other than a Leeds win. I'm going to go for 2-0 Leeds.
2-0 Leeds. I'm going for 3-0 to Leeds. Liam?
I feel like this game honestly could go either way. I feel like we could just nick a 1-0 win, or it could be a cricket score without us scoring any wickets. I'm not feeling very optimistic. I'm going to go 2-0 Leeds.
2-0 Leeds. Okay, Martin, your prediction?
I'm going to be positive tonight and go 2-1 Newcastle.
2-1 to Newcastle. Okay, Pete?
Fingers crossed.
I'm going to say that we're going to score tonight. I believe that we're going to get a goal of some sort. So I'm going to say we're going to lose, but 2-1.
2-1, okay. Al-Walid?
It's look like open game, so I expect 3-2 Newcastle.
3-2 Newcastle, okay. Rich?
I think there's goals in the game, unfortunately, but I just hope there's more for Newcastle than the Leeds. However, do you know I'm going to be positive? I'm actually thought positive. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw, okay. Mixed bag of predictions tonight, and just getting ready with the teams on the pitch as the cameras focus in on Steve Bruce, who is looking out onto the pitch. Wonder what's going through his mind tonight. Does he think this could be the last time he is sitting at St James's Park, or does he know that he's going to be there until at least the end of the season or when a takeover goes through? We, as always, will talk you through the game as best we can, and I think, as a few people have suggested in the chat, we should just have a general chat about Newcastle and have the odd comment. Well, that's what we tend to do. But stay with us if you want to for an alternative commentary on this match. The referee is just getting the captains together and getting ready to kick the game off. Let's talk protests, Chris. And it's something which I talked about last night on the 5-minute rant with Pete and Chris, and on the girls' show last night as well. And social media, of course, a place where people dream up some wonderful ideas. Some can be, massively beneficial. The food bank, of course, raising thousands of pounds and, putting food on the table for people at a much needed time. War flags, of course, creates some fantastic work, and we've just seen the latest flags at St James's Park about the current affairs at St James's Park. But it also creates a place for accounts to be set up. They may get a couple of thousand followers and then decide that they're suddenly a protest group, etc. We've seen a few ideas floated around. There was supposed to be people talking about going up to the ground tonight. I'm pleased to say that hasn't happened. But we have seen suggestions from certain people about maybe unfollowing the club on social media, or essentially attacking the sponsors of the club on social media as a form of protest. Other people suggesting that at a certain time during the game, everybody tweets the club's official account with Bruce out. it's a different world we're living in, as I've already, mentioned earlier on with the pandemic. So protests obviously have to take a different shape or form. We've seen I'm not sure whether you've seen it, but we've seen a video circulating on WhatsApp today of someone going to the players' entrance and throwing a cabbage at the players' entrance with Bruce Out written on it. What's your views on protests and the like, Chris? And it doesn't have any effect when there's 52,000 people in. But quite what really people are expecting to be able to achieve by doing those kind of things, I'm not sure. But what's your take on it?
Well, of course, Steve, the major form of protest to boycott the match is not available to us because no fans stand. And that was something, of course, that we began 10,000 staying away last season when we could have at least we could have fans. Short of that, I don't think that any kind of social media campaign unfollowing the club, anything like that, will register with the club. It's all about being vocal. So I think we have a voice here. Other YouTube channels, and if we're all on the same page and not being apologists or sort of infighting among the fans, I think that if we have a united front and say this is not Newcastle United, this is not acceptable, the club has to change. This is our most critical season possibly ever, because if we are relegated, then I think our chances of being taken over are diminished, if not totally gone away, despite the Athletic article out today saying that the prospective owners will be nonplussed, be challenged by a relegation, but not turned off. I tend to believe that Saudis are not going to want to buy a championship club. So this season, more than any other season in my memory, possibly back to the season where Kevin Keegan came in to rescue the club from going down to the third division. I think we're on that level of critical, in the red zone, critical that we stay up and survive to see a takeover.
Okay, Shane, protests, we've seen so many over the years, and the older they are, the more you've seen. What's your take on protests? Just one thing of interest, 3 minutes in, Shaw had a bit of an injury scare, fell awkwardly on his shoulder after a challenge, but he's back on his feet and he's okay as Leeds take a throw in. But yeah, Shane, protests, what's your take on some of the stuff that's been out online over the last 48 hours?
I mean, do protests work? Really? Does Mike actually take notice of them? No, I don't think so. I think Mike Ashley's is his own man. He'll make the decisions that he wants to make. Going back to last year, there was fans outside the meeting when Mike Ashley met up with Amanda Staveley. He didn't care about that. There was protests outside Sports Direct up in Newcastle. There was protests down in London. I don't think it matters. I think the only time that you gain traction as a protest is when you have viewers, and the only time that can happen is when fans eventually get back into the stadiums. I think once that happens, you can vent your frustration somewhat, and you can tell Steve Bruce and you can tell Mark Ashley just exactly what you feel. I mean, all the protest groups, and you said, like, as soon as a Twitter account gets 2,000 followers, they think that they can go out and gather momentum. It just doesn't work. And then you have silos of supporters protesting one thing, and then another group of protesters protesting another thing, and you don't really know how many people are actually paying attention to these things. I mean, there was a walkout. I don't know if it was last season or the season before, where everyone was going to walk out after 75 minutes. I mean, it worked, and you could see that people were walking out, but it wasn't many. I mean, out of 52,000, maybe 5,000 walked out. So you've always got to be mindful with social media that although you think everybody's on social media and watches what goes on in social media, that's not the case. And with these walkouts and with these protests, only a small fraction of the forces actually turn up. So do they work? To an extent, but do they get the desired outcome? Probably not.
Yeah, okay, mate. Good stuff. Liam, again, I know you're not watching the game tonight, but believe you me, you're not missing anything at the moment. Still 0-0, 6 minutes played. Shelby did venture forward there, but it'll not be long before he starts hedging back and then sitting on front of the back four, I doubt. Goal flash, Crystal Palace 1, West Ham 0. Zaha with the goal on the 3rd minute. But yeah, Liam, protests, did it work?
Short and sweet, Steve. No, I don't think they work. Tweeting the club account, I think, is actually a bit silly because at the end of the day, it is just an intern that is the one tweeting out the things, putting things on Instagram. You know, Mike Ashley, as far as we know, doesn't have Twitter or any social media platforms. Neither does Steve Bruce. So I think that it's just a bit silly. I'll be honest. You know, it's the same for tweeting sponsors as well. Like, you know, in other sports, maybe it'll work. You know, it worked in F1. With all the Nikita Mazepin stuff, but I don't think it's going to work in football. You know, if you want to direct protests towards the stadium, I know obviously we're in a lockdown right now, so we can't really do that. But, you know, stuff that War Flags did where they did bring a flag out to the club, and I saw at the training ground as well, people were bringing flags out there. But I don't think it's very effective, I'll be honest. You know, and you said as well, like there was a video of someone throwing a cabbage at where the players are going in. Why don't you just save your money and just give it to the food bank or something like that, or just sort of treat yourself with something else? Because I'm going to be honest, I don't think it's very effective.
Yeah, but I mean, it's funny. It creates a bit of humour in an otherwise pretty dismal time. But yeah, I think you're right, mate. I think you're right. Martin, protests. Have you took part in any? Is it something that you agree with? You know, just in general, not necessarily the ones that have been suggested over the last 48 hours on social media.
I think under this current regime with Mike Ashley, I don't think it works. I think it sort of worked in the first few years he was here, wasn't he? He was quite scared and he read out a massive statement on Sky Sports, didn't he? Saying, I've heard you, I'm going to leave or whatever, but he didn't. I just think if you're going to protest, I think, you know, it's like the old-fashioned thing. When you're out of COVID, if you can do it in big crowds, that's what makes a difference. If you can't do that, then I don't think it has much effect.
Yeah, okay. Pete, what's your take on the protest situation?
I'd mentioned before, I don't think anything with a Twitter handle works. I talked about it on the rant show yesterday. I don't think people high up at the club even look at stuff like that. So I don't think it would have any effect in how they value it. We already know Steve Bruce, or apparently Steve Bruce doesn't check the Twitter or the social media. I imagine his son does, which is why he gets all that information. But with regards to the protests, you know, small numbers. You know, the War Flags did it the other night where they protested with the flags, and they were fantastic. The flags and banners, which were fantastic, by the way. And you know, if we can do that at the right times, I talked about it being, you know, boxing smart and doing it at the right times, and getting the right message across. The cabbages and the dismantling of things and all the rest of that is not the right way of going about it. But, you know, like I said, before the game tonight, as the players go in, as they drive in, the motor drives in, if the banners are there, as long as everyone's social distance, with a small number of people getting that message across with the BT Sport cameras out there, they'll get a view of it. It will then be hot topic. They'll have a discussion about it, which then makes it national news. You know, they're the times to really send the message that people aren't happy. But doing it in mass numbers, I don't agree with at all, in particular during a lockdown.
No, okay. Al-Walid, protests, I suppose, are something a bit new to you, but as you'll soon find out as a Newcastle fan, it's quite common. And if you go back through our history, there's often been, you know, protests going on between, you know, fans against the owners. So, you know, what is your take on protests? I mean, do you have much experience of that in Saudi?
Actually, we have. my team Al Hilal, we have same situation before,
Yeah.
and basically the fans, we didn't go to the games, we didn't buy the tickets, and the percentage going to the game that back then was very limited, and
Yeah.
that was work, and they sacked the coach that time. I remember. Um, for me, any action being done with any quite number of people, it will start to make sense and get effect. Mike Ashley, I can see now it's working now. The protest against the war flag, I think it's starting to work. Now Bruce, he's not speaking to written media, and he start to make some changes in the squad, training squad. He bring, I think, or he will bring Grammy Jones from Bournemouth. I think this is just to make the storm around Bruce quieter. And I think if Newcastle fans focus on the season ticket, it's gonna affect more as a hearing sound.
Okay, Rich, what's your take? Yes, I've managed to load the video. This is exactly what I was talking about with the cabbage. Anyway. I mean, that's it. But, Bruce out written on a cabbage and then someone bothering their backside to go up there and throw it. I mean, it's not going to change. It's not going to change Mike Astley's opinion or Steve Bruce's opinion. I'll make the takeover, hurry up. But it's that quick, you missed it. But here you... Yeah, I mean, whatever happened to that cabbage? Rich, I mean, what's your take on protest as a whole?
At the very start, I think we were all behind it, but I think a lot of the things that we discussed on the NUFC Matters community is that it tends to be he actually appreciates some of these protests because these businesses get promoted because of free advertising for it. It doesn't bother. It just doesn't bother him. Full stop. It doesn't bother the hierarchy either. They're stuck with the head in the sands, just not bothered. Full stop. I think that the war flags one the other night, I think, was absolutely fantastic. I sent a tweet out saying they were on fire that night because there were the three flags that took to the ground, really appropriate. But the only problem is he's not going to pay any attention to it, unfortunately. That's just regardless of the going on it anymore. I think the one thing we've got to try and focus, even though it's all Bruce. We've got to try and stick behind the team if we can. But we've said that before in the past as well. But unfortunately, the team aren't giving us anything to get behind. But they're the only people that can actually change things for the club at the minute is actually getting results on the pitch. And the problem is with that, though, we've got a lot of the players who aren't taking stuff by the scruff of the neck like they used to and have down tools. And as one of the lads mentioned before, the game when they lost against Villa tonight, it looked like we'd been relegated. Every single player had their head down. Even Steve Bruce had his head down and walking off. And then I don't know. I don't know if anyone else knows, but it seemed to be that Agnew had his little snooty thing on over his mouth, but he just seemed to have this grin on his face as though he was going off. It just as though he was expecting all the backlash that's going to come, and was just found it quite hilarious. But I don't think protest will work, and at this moment in time, I think he's his head in the sand. All he wants to do is get this takeover with. It's just hopefully it gets done before it's drastically too late, and we're in a position where we can't be rescued this year.
Yeah, 15 minutes gone. Newcastle 0, Leeds 0. Leeds pressing no, and they're attacking the Gallagher end. And at the moment, the ball is clear, but the ball clearly falling to Bamford there. They're playing to Bamford all the time, and Newcastle up against it. It's got to be said. Good evening, Babbo. Oh, you're on mute, mate. You're on mute. You do. That's it. Got you. How are you? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Now you were like Martin. You joined us last night for the first time, and we always ask people about their first game. Can you remember your first game as a Newcastle fan, Babu?
I can't, but I remember it was Dembaba and Cisse that were striking.
Yeah.
When I went for the first game, It's definitely not a Chelsea match. If it was, I would remember because I remember that one. I think it was against. My God, West Ham.
West Ham, yeah.
Yes, yes, it was. It was incredible because that was my first time watching an English match in an English stadium because I moved from Nigeria, so I was like, Jesus, this is insane.
Yeah,
It is
fantastic. And
definitely an experience everyone should have.
yeah, 100%, and hopefully we'll all get back to that at some point. We're talking about protests, Babu. What we're trying to do is take our minds off the game and talk about other things other than watching the game. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, there's been a few things. People have done some professional banners such as war flags. We've had homemade ones on cardboard hung outside the training ground. 1-0 to Leeds. Wonderful goal that by Leeds, to be honest. Some great play. That was coming, by the way. Newcastle really just stepping off, inviting Leeds onto them. And the Leeds that we saw at the start of the season seem to have regained their shooting boots. And Steve Bruce is red-faced, shouting at the team. And nobody's listening. But yeah, 1-0 to Leeds. No surprise there whatsoever. We'll just watch that back and we'll go around the table and talk about it. It's a wonderful move. Cut through Newcastle's back four like a knife through butter. Had plenty of time to play it. Edge of the box. Who got the goal? Was it Rodriguez?
Rafinha, I think.
Rafinha, that was, yeah. Great ball. They were queuing up, basically. Queuing up at the edge of the box. And that's it. 1-0 Leeds. Darlow didn't have a chance. Curled it around him at the Gallagher end. So yeah, Babu, basically protests. Do you think they work? Here's somebody today at St James's Park using his cabbage. Yeah, he's just gone up with Bruce out and thrown it up there at the ground. What do you think that works?
I think for the optics it works.
Yep.
For the optics it works. Ironically, I feel bad for Bruce because at the end of the day, the main enemy here is Ashley and his team of people that keep picking incompetent people to do things for us. I mean, I was under the impression that Joe Linton was only bought because Ashley liked him rather than because he was needed. So I don't think they would work if we're going after Bruce. We need to go after Ashley because he's the architect of everything that happens. That's the ironic part of it.
It's interesting you say that because I personally feel we need Ashley at the moment more than we ever do. We're in the middle of a pandemic. We need him to still want to sell this club.
Yeah, he's on side with us now. That's the problem. We sent Ashley out. It's Bruce out. Ashley's with us.
Yeah, that's the problem. And Babu was saying, we should be targeting Ashley. And I would have always agreed with that. I mean, those of you who remember me, dressing up as a vicar, there we go. Look, the most trendiest vicar in town with his sambas on and his cassock. But something which I've had a lot of stick for over the years. But yeah, look, I've protested. I've done it. I've led from the front, and it's something which Rich quite rightly points out. All that did, it was when I got the message from Derek Lambias to say Mike thought your protest was great because it raises the profile, it publicises his business. His businesses get publicity off the back of protest. But what I'm trying to say, Babu, is the whole thing we have now is, Mike Ashley, we want him to sell the club. And I think if we start targeting Mike Ashley now, then, there's nothing stopping him saying, well, actually, balls to this, I'm just going to keep the club and, I'll just keep a hold of it and stay here. I don't know.
That's a fair point. No, it is a fair point.
It's my thoughts. We need him to support this sale. And at the moment, he wants to sell and he wants to sell to PIF.
Yeah, and to be fair, right, he wants to sell. But I am under the impression that Bruce, one, needs media training because he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about when he's on that conference thing. And secondly, Mike actually has a talent for finding suckers because he knew no one wanted to take that job. I mean, we said it yesterday, if Sam Allardyce is rejecting you at the start of a season, he already knows what's coming. So he found the most gullible person, and unfortunately, Steve joined in. So if we sack Steve now, we'd get who? Eddie Howe? Do you think Eddie Howe is going to put his integrity on the line just like that? It's just who's going to replace Bruce, and that's the problem. Like, I saw this lineup today, and I was like, it's the same thing the last 9 games. At a certain point, even if you're not good at what you do, look at Pep Guardiola and just copy his formation. Just do it. Just try it out. It's frustrating.
It is. It's very frustrating. Chris, we'll come to you now, mate. 20 minutes into the game. Newcastle 1-0 down. Did they deserve to be?
Yeah. I'm a little behind on the stream there. I just saw Lascelles miss a header nowhere near the goal. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, like I said at the beginning, this lineup is sort of doomed to fail, and you wonder whether Steve Bruce is trying to get fired. I haven't seen any kind of typical midfield delivery where you feel that Wilson up front is just totally isolated and not getting any kind of service, and maybe second guessing his decision to join this club. But I'm sort of a backer of Ryan Fraser if he's on his game, but it doesn't seem to be kind of the kind of creative force that we need in the up front there, and it's hard to see any kind of positives. I usually want to look on the bright side and see the silver linings in the clouds, but to me right now it's all storm clouds for me. I don't see anything resembling any kind of hope or positivity to report back.
No, me neither. Shane, well, we've got off to the start that we expected, mate. And what's your take on that opening 22 minutes from Steve Bruce? Are the gloves off, and is this work in progress looking any better?
I mean, we're playing at home. We're so defensive. I mean, we've gone 1-0 down, and for me, that's it. The game's over. I know we're laughing on here and having a joke, but I'm just fucking sick of it. I just can't stomach it anymore. It's so bad. We're not creating. We're not passing to feet. We've got Shelby and Hendrick in midfield against probably the most fittest team in the Premier League, and they are just docile. They're just wandering around. They couldn't give a fuck, could they? I mean, I can't see us even scoring. I mean, it's just dead. Oh, Steve, I don't even know what to say. I'm so disappointed.
I feel partly responsible for getting you involved in this whole process. And getting you on
I honestly don't know, because I mean, before I watch the Newcastle games, I'm kind of happy, and it just ruins my mood. It just ruins it, and I've got another 70 minutes of this. I might just turn off and fucking watch something else. It's just dead. You can move on with me.
Maybe you could put a box set on, and when we come to you, you can talk about what you're watching. Maybe or something.
Have a bit more fun.
We'll come to you and we'll discuss. We'll character analyze somebody in one of them. We'll see what you've chosen to watch when we come back to you. Liam's not watching the match. I'm not sure whether he's gaming or something, but we'll find out now. Liam, you're not watching the match, mate. You're looking at the wall, which, to be honest, is quite similar to watching Newcastle play. What's your take on what the lads are saying?
But sports, I'm watching Sky Sports News because
all right, okay.
A new Chelsea manager has just been appointed, Thomas Tuchel, after Lampard sacking. I'll tell you what as well. Frank Lampard is someone that I'd definitely take at Newcastle. About what the lads say, you've got to agree with them, I think. Obviously, I'm not watching the game, so I can't really say too much about it. But I mean, it just sounds like same old Newcastle, really. Yeah,
it is. Tuchel going to Chelsea, it's the worst kept secret in football. Lampard, where do you think he'll end up then, Liam? I've got a feeling he could go to Celtic, I think we could see Lampard versus Gerrard up there once Lennon gets the boot.
Well, like I said, I think I'd like to see him at Newcastle. I thought he did very well in his first season at Chelsea with a budget as well. I mean, he didn't sign anyone apart from Matija Kovacic, who was on loan the previous season. He managed to get them Champions League football. I think, yeah, he would be good at Newcastle, possibly Celtic. There are rumours about going saying that Rafa Benitez could go to Celtic, but I'm not too sure right now. He could end up in the Championship. He could end up abroad. Who knows?
I think Rafa's sitting waiting for this takeover to go through, and he will be confirmed as Newcastle manager. That's where my money's on with that. But I could see him. I could see Lampard going up there. I do feel my opinion on the Lampard situation. Not that I'm really too fussed about what happens at Chelsea. I've got to be honest. But he was used by the manager, the owner. Sorry. He knew that Lampard would do well with the youngsters after what he'd done at Derby, and essentially, I've got a feeling that those players were brought in the transfer window once Chelsea were allowed to spend money again, and they were brought in above Lampard's head. And like a lot of managers these days, he had absolutely no say in who came in, and he was given players and told, you need to work with them. And that's unfortunate, because you've probably really, you've hit somebody's confidence. Lampard might not be the greatest manager. Let's make no bones about it. Not all players make good managers. Ex-players make good managers, but he might have dented somebody. He could do a Shearer and not come back. I don't think he will, but I just think I think he was set up to fail by Abramovich, and I find that pretty cruel on somebody who claims to be, your mate in football.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you, to be fair. I thought at Chelsea, Frank Lampard could have really been a part of a long-term project and been, it's a bit of a far-fetched, but like an Arsene Wenger and Alex Ferguson, bringing a club legend in who all the fans will definitely back. And he had a fantastic first season, like we said. Managers do have bad seasons, and obviously Chelsea are having a bad season now. But I think his main downfall was literally just because they've spent so much money, and they will expect instant results with the amount of money they've spent. And obviously that's not come straight away. With the likes of Kai Havertz, who, I'm going to be honest, isn't strong enough to be a Premier League player. He's very tall, he's very skinny, and I just don't think he has the strength to be a Premier League player right now. Timo Werner, he started off well, but it's just not working out for him right now. So I think he had the backing financially, but he's just not made it happen on the pitch, and unfortunately he's paid the price for that.
For Newcastle having a bad season where we were 9th in the Premier League and on 29 points at this stage of the season. But I get your point, Liam. Thanks for that, mate. Rich, we've got one of the Leeds players going off. Who was it, mate?
I was listening to Liam. Actually, it was more interesting, so I don't know who's going on.
So someone's took a knock. Someone's got injured for Leeds. I'm not sure who it is.
I think it's Dallas.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it looked like it was Dallas. Newcastle anyway, still 1-0 down at home. 28 minutes on the clock, and 5 at the back and Wilson up front. Well, that's what you get. What's your take on that opening half hour, Rich?
It's abysmal.
Yeah.
It's the stats came up before. I think was it 24% possession we had at home. We should be dominating possession at home. We shouldn't be allowing 70-odd possession to a team who are out of form like us, who, before tonight hadn't scored, was it the last 3 or 4 games, something like that. But once again, they've got their tails up because they're playing Newcastle. I just can't see us getting back into this game. And I think he's going to have to do something completely out of the box. I think he's going to have to make some substitutions at half time, which we know he won't do. But that's what we know he should do. Because
65th minute, Rich. 65th minute onwards, remember.
He was slacking the day, mate. It was 68 the other day, wasn't it? He slacked. He was a bit lackluster again in his substitution, wasn't he? But
he must have got a bit of garlic sauce in his watch.
I must have. I've got to say, watching the game, the amount of creativity, we've got more creativity on our show with the lads who are on here than we have on the pitch tonight, mate. So we've probably got more of us in lockdown chance of actually go out and scoring what they have and actually on the pitch tonight, mate. So that's where I stand on that.
Rich, I like the way you're sitting tonight as well. You're adopting what we call the Chris A pose, because Chris, when we first started doing these shows, used to do like the Queen. It's a bit like you're sitting for a portrait, or you're doing like like the Queen, the stamp, like that. We used to move. In fact, we used to move Chris to the corner. Hold on, there we go. Chris used to hate it in that corner because he used to get hidden behind this logo in the top corner. But he's we'll put you back, Chris. I know you get a bit upset with that. Babo, Go on, Rich.
I was just going to perhaps say perhaps I should change it because I don't have the best side profile for this one, do I? So
I've seen worse, kidder. I've seen worse. Babu, half an hour gone. Newcastle 0, Leeds 1. What do you make?
I am an optimist. I am like I'm not gonna stress myself today. Gonna try and do my breathing exercises because I'm just like, why? I said it yesterday. We just get kicked in the nuts every week.
Yep.
And we come back the next week and we're like, please, babe, don't kick me in the nuts. It's gonna be fine. Just be nice to me. And they keep doing the same thing. At a certain point, I think these players will switch the formation while Bruce is standing on the side. We'll just be like, if you can't do it, we'll do it for you. Because at this point, why is Richie not playing?
Yeah. Why is Gale not playing?
Well, he's been chasing the guy from all the clubs he's been, and now that he finally has him, he is not playing him. I've not seen someone who can contradict himself so much ever in public. I mean, I was going to ask, with the Lampard situation, to be honest, we all saw it coming.
Yeah.
We also, from the day I was like, Abramovich appointing Lampard, this is not going to end well. And I just think he should have known better and gone like, okay, I know I can take this job now, but let me act and learn the craft properly before I come here and then you give me a sack in like a couple of games. So it's quite disappointing. But, you know, if Ashley decides to sack Bruce, at least we have one other option we can get in. So we're not losing entirely.
Yeah, Shelby has just killed a pigeon in the Lee's end. Yes, he's had a free kick. Martin, Steve Bruce, again, just looking bemused, looking down, looking depressed. No motivation, no idea, no clue. And I think Dave Harrison has just put a quote up. He says, the most used word by the commentators on the TV at the moment is ball given away by Shelby again.
I think I might play FIFA in a minute, mate, to be honest.
I think I made the comment.
Honestly,
I think I made the comment.
The enjoyment I get that is, you play in career mode. You get a decent transfer budget, a normal sort of realistic transfer budget every 6 months, and whatever it is, and then you buy players, and it's a normal league. It's exciting. This is awful. I don't get why they don't just, if the takeover's looking highly likely, why they don't just do an IOU, Mike Ashley. So get Rafa in now, and we'll pay you back when the takeover goes through. Just get him in now.
I kid you not. I feel like I was thinking that I was just like, Ashley, just go there and just be like, Rafa, what do you want? Just take my money. Just make sure I can sell the club. You get a percentage, something. Just take us back.
Exactly. Yeah. So, put him in now, and then, whatever Piff owe him for getting him in, they make that as part of the takeover. There you go.
Yeah, we've got an injury to Murphy. He's collided with a goalkeeper. Ryan Fraser with a half-decent ball across the box. Murphy went in where it hurts. He's hurt the goalkeeper as well. The goalkeeper's down, face down. Both of them are conscious. I think Murphy's up now. Got two of the Leeds United physios looking at the goalkeeper, so a little bit more time to be added on. We've already had one stoppage as Bielsa is sitting in his technical area on his honkers as usual. But yeah, we've got to stop in play. Newcastle 0, Leeds 1. Pete, I can always rely on you on an honest appraisal of the first half so far. What's your take on the show? What do you think of it so far?
It's to be expected. Leeds, I would say Leeds have just shaded it and deserve to be winning. But I don't think they play very well. I think any other team in the league, in the Premier League, would be doing these over. I can see why they've been beaten in the last 3 games. Why they've not got a win, should I say? Because they don't look very good, but they look better than us. And it just tells you everything you need to know about our standing in this league and our performances right now. This is the first time I've ever seen Callum Wilson be frustrated visually on the pitch. He is pissed off, and he's shown his frustration on at least 3 different occasions now, because he's doing what he needs to be doing as a striker. He's pressing high up. He's trying to make them go long as a team, so we can win the ball certainly from the back and build forward. But he's getting no support in there whatsoever. And when he is, it's half-hearted. People are running to the player, but not with any intent to win the ball. It's like the fake. When we used to play, we used to call it the fake press. Is that you look like you're doing something, but you're actually not doing anything. And he can see it. And he's getting pissed off with Fraser. He's getting pissed off with Almiron and Jacob Murphy. Because what they're doing such a bad press that all they're doing is playing one ball in and behind him. And they've literally beat the whole midfield. And then you've got Shelby and Hendricks that are literally sitting on the centre-backs. So there's such a gap in midfield that their centre midfielders are having an absolute field day. They're having an absolute field day on the ball. They've got all the possession they could want and need. Again, we're just falling into a trap of not having any tactical nous about us. Because this Leeds team are not very good. Defensively, you can see there are ins there. If we had any quality attacking intent, we could really hurt this team, but we've not. We've got no idea of what we're doing actually on the ball. I don't think I've seen Ryan Fraser play a forward pass. I've got Jacob Murphy that's just literally running in circles. Like, he's not running with any intent or anything on the ball. You've got Shelby that is just being Shelby, just playing his own game. You've got Hendricks, which until about 5 minutes ago, I didn't even realise was actually on the pitch. And you've got Jamal Lascelles that's running around like a headless chicken. He is just regressed onto a completely different level. He'd be lucky to get into a top 6 championship club the way Jamal Lascelles is playing at the moment. And he's our captain. Where is his leadership? His leadership from when we went down in 2016 and he galvanised the team and then brought us back to the Premier League under Rafa. He is literally, like, everything about that player in terms of his performances and his leadership is stopped. He is gone right now. Like, he is like a player down at the moment, the way he's playing. It's just all over the place. It's all over the place. And it's such a shame because actually, seeing how Leeds have come out in this first, 37 minutes, they haven't played well. And actually, this is a game we could probably get something from. So I think someone alluded to the fact that, we need to make some changes at half time. You know what? I'd bring St. Maximin on at half time and give him 45.
Would you have started St. Maximin, Pete? That's a question that somebody asked. I think it was John Davies. He said, would you have started him?
100% no. 100% no. That is just a recipe for a hamstring or a serious injury that's going to put him out for the next 6 weeks. Bruce did that last season and it didn't work. And we lost him for crucial parts of the season. You've got to be box smart with him. He's had injuries over his time at Newcastle. We have to be careful with him. So 15, 20 minutes against Villa was great. You could probably push him for 45, and that would be a push in my opinion. But you could push him for 45, and then you could maybe look to start him against Everton and maybe give him 60 minutes max. And you've got to build his fitness up. Remember, it's 7 or 8 weeks he's not played. It's a long time. It's a long time to not play professional elite football, and he is an elite player when he's on form. So we need to protect him because he'll be the one that will get his points at some point during the season. So for me, there are ins in this game for the likes of St. Maximin. There's ins for the like of Andy Carroll. They're not really good aerially. This Leeds team, we need to be doing what we tried to do in previous games against Arsenal, for example, where we just lump the ball long and get him to win the flick-ons. This is the perfect opportunity for Andy Carroll to be playing. Forget this back 5. At the moment, the way Leeds are playing, we don't even need it. We could get an extra man in that midfield and really dominate that midfield and push us up the pitch. We're not doing it right now, but it's all well and good me saying that, and I'm sure the rest of the panel and the guys watching have probably got their own opinions on it. But the key is Bruce needs to see this, and this is the problem that we have as fans: is that we see the problems that are happening within this club and within these performances. He doesn't, or if he does, he doesn't care, and that's the biggest problem.
Yeah. Al-Walid, your take on the first 40 minutes. Newcastle 1-0 down. Shane put an interesting stat in the chat about 5 minutes ago. 35 passes to Newcastle, Leeds 127.
We started a little bit better in the last 5 minutes. I hope the problem is Leeds control. From the starting of the game, they are owning the middle field, owning the midfield, because most of us we are in the back. I'm very upset about Murphy mistake again. Same, always this mistake happen with different players. He's like holding the ball from throughout, and he doesn't have a clue what to do with the ball because most of the player in the back. So we need to we see Fraser, Almiron, they are also, as I said before the game, they are also trying to get the ball from behind. So three player, not enough. And when Shelby and Hendrik, when they try to assist the player in the front, they basically can't because this is not they need the number 10, who's actually doesn't exist.
Yeah, there's another video circulating at the moment on social media, and it's obviously taken off Sky. Geordie Sid has put it around. I've just retweeted it at Steve Wraith on Twitter, and it basically just shows you where we're at. We can't even hit the target in the warm-up. The goalkeeper might as well not be standing there. Absolutely atrocious. Honestly, this club at the moment is rotten from top to bottom, and we need massive surgery. Yeah, Newcastle still 1-0 down. Goalkeeper's got the ball. We'll just revisit that. It was a header, wasn't it? Yeah, it was an attempt by Jamal Lascelles. VAR's probably switched off at St James's as Leeds go down the other end. Is this 2-0? No.
That would have been, you know what? I'm sorry, Steve. And they could still be 2-0 now. And it probably should have been. And you know what?
By Darlow.
It's a good save. But you know what? They've just split us with one pass. That is one pass that's just completely split that defence. Yeah. And for the last 5 or 10 minutes, we've actually been causing them a few problems going forward. And all it takes is one ball and it just completely destroys the defence. And it's an absolute shambles. Watch the players. If it gets that bird's eye view again, you've got half of the players in the box that are just standing around and not even looking about who's making the runs. You've got players there that are just literally running around like headless chickens. It's a joke. There's no organisational structure to this team whatsoever. It's embarrassing.
It's insane. Honestly. Because we're watching. So you play 5 at the back, and every time one person runs towards 5 defenders, they all start pushing back. No one challenges the player. No one goes to him. I don't know how Jeff Hendrick learned how to defend. He stands 2 meters away from a player. A Premier League player, you give him 2 meters, that person can destroy you. And he constantly does it every single time. One ball over the top, our defenders are too slow. So they might as well not be pushing up that high. It doesn't make any sense.
Honestly, it's baffling. I run a Sunday league team with a couple of lads, right? And we're not even the greatest team in the world, but we set up better than that. Honestly, it's that bad. It is that bad. It's schoolboy stuff. It's stuff you'd see under 13s on a Sunday where they're still in the headless chicken mode, where they just all run and just chase the same ball. It's like there's no structure whatsoever. But you've got to look at the manager. You look at some of these players. These players, you look at the players. You look at Lascelles. You look at Shaw. You look at Murphy. These players have all played under Rafa Benitez and played a structural, systematic way of playing football and did it well under shit circumstances, right? And look at them now. This is down to the manager and the manager only. They need guidance right now. When you're in a relegation battle, you need confidence. You need guidance. You need to be able to look on the sidelines and see someone and to tell you what you need to do. And to encourage you to do the right thing. They're looking at Bruce, and he's got his hands in his pockets, always puffing out his cheeks, always just pointing in a random direction to show the cameras that he's actually doing something. When he's not. He's not. He's literally giving nothing to the team. Right.
That's what Babu said last night. The puffing of the cheeks. That's why I was laughing. I've got to be honest. I want to give this comment. I want to give this comment a shout. This has got to be the comment of the night so far. Trey and Son. Captain Tom would have given us more legs in midfield than Hendrick and Shelby. Captain Tom, of course, is the man who raised £35 million by walking up and down on his Zimmer frame for the NHS. So yeah, good point, Trey. And Son, thanks for that. Okay, we're coming up to half time. We've got 5 minutes of injury time. There's been a couple of stoppages. Martin's come up with a great shout about a topic. Let's talk about Chris. Come to you, mate. Are you praying? Should I go to someone else? Chris? Hello, Chris, are you awake? Good evening, Chris. There you are, Chris. We're just going to talk. We're going to talk about the video that was circulating yesterday and today of St. Maximin and Dwight Gale, and I think it shows. I mean, look, I retweeted it. I often look at different things and I'll retweet it like everybody does on Twitter. But the video, it gave one impression, and then the longer video that was put out later on gave another impression, and it was, oh, here comes the saviour, or words to that effect from Dwight Gale to St. Maximin when he was given an interview. And it looked as if there was a bit of beef between them. You know what I mean? As if there was a bit of sarcasm. But when you watch the longer interview, it looked like a bit of banter. A lot of people read into that it wasn't Gale having a pop at St. Maximin. It was more of a dig at Steve Bruce. What did you make of it?
I didn't see it. By the way, I was just putting in my Deliveroo order, so that's where you caught me doing.
All right, okay. Well, thanks for including all of us. we do have Deliveroo in Newcastle, you know.
It'll be cold by the time it's actually Deliveroo was started by my mate from uni back in Chicago.
I bet he doesn't speak to you now.
I know, he drives a Ferrari, and we follow each other on Instagram.
Does he owe you any money?
Unfortunately not. You know.
Have you ever had a free Deliveroo off him?
I might have to ask him for a job sometime. I don't know. If I don't get hired by the Secretary of State, this guy confirmed.
Well, you didn't see the video, so what? But I mean, can you comment on it? Do you want to comment on it?
I better not comment on something I haven't seen. That's just a policy.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Go on.
When I saw it, I was like, this is a bit out of character, because that's nothing. Like, Gail has been a very respectful professional from all the times he's been in Newcastle. So for him to do that, I was like, there is something odd going on. And it definitely looked like he was taking a dig at St. Maximin, because you don't just come out of the training pitch and be like, oh, the savior is here, when you know you're playing shit. And the way the video was cut, I was like, so I guess the players are fighting amongst themselves now. That's all we need. And then you posted the longer video, and I think it's Henry Xavier that was like, he translated it to French for St. Maximin, and he just started laughing his ass off, because he was like, he can't do anything on his own. If you're playing horrible tactics, then you could have prime Zidane in this team, and they'll still make him look shit, because everything is wrong. And I can't remember, you were talking to someone who was a commentator at Newcastle.
Mick Lewis.
Yeah. And he said something about, like, it all stems from the tactics. Like, you can have good players and they'll still be able to get you a point. Bruce has proved to us that you could have Galacticus and still play shitty football, because you have Ronaldinho defending.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Lots of people now coming in about your friend, Chris. Can he deliver you a couple of goals, says Jazz Flute. Brett C says, don't know my question, is this a gangbang? I don't know what the hell that is. Brett C says, does he fancy investing in a football club? So maybe when you're asking him about the money that he owes you and other things, maybe he's asking him if he wants to invest in a football club. Shane, what did you make of that video?
It depends what version you see. I mean, if you see the long one, it all looks like a bit of fun and games. I just wait for this attack to peter out.
Oh, you're still watching the match?
Yeah, I turned on Electric Fire, and I started watching that, which was kind of fun.
Things were starting to heat up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Had it on level 5, fucking banging. It all depends what version you watch. If you watch the longer version, it all looks like fun and games. You watch the short version, it kind of looks like there's a bit of hated or a bit of sarcasm there. But I mean, the comment in general, it would have to be mooted at some point. I mean, Steve Bruce must have said it, otherwise he wouldn't have been thinking about it. So I think there's an element of everybody knows that when St Maximin's not in the team, we are kind of fucked. And I mean, if you're someone that's on the sub bench not getting a look in, you're going to feel like shit, really. So I don't think there's much in it, to be honest. But I think the sentiment itself, I think it's been put out there, maybe by Steve Bruce, or that's obviously how the team feels, that he's the key, and when he's not in the team, it all kind of falls apart.
Yeah, okay, mate. Well, I'm proud of you that you managed to get through to half time, and that's where we're at. Half time, Newcastle United 0, Leeds 1. It could have been a lot worse. Newcastle still in with a chance of getting something out of this game, but they do need to make some kind of changes. Liam, just on that video of St Maximin and Dwight Gale, was that tongue in cheek, or was there something a bit more sinister to that? Do you think?
I feel like a guy like Dwight Gale, I don't think he would have done it with any malicious intent. It did seem very sort of sarcastic, but that might just be his tone of voice. But yeah, I don't think Gale would ever do anything sort of with malicious intent to a guy like St Maximin. But he is right, to be fair, the so-called saviour is St Maximin here, I think, in this case. We definitely do play better football with him. Like, yeah, I think you saw that in the 20 minutes that he came on against Aston Villa. We're seeing to perk up a teeny bit and played a lot better. With the fuller video as well, I think it just sort of showed that it was just a bit of a laugh in that. But yeah, I don't think there was any malicious intent intended from Dwight Gale, but it did come across as quite sarcastic from him.
Yeah, no, it did, mate. It did. Now, I think, that just shows, the power of the edit is something which, especially on social media, can be very, very misleading.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. I mean, things can get taken out of context so easily with different things,
Yeah, okay, mate. Good stuff. Rich, I have to turn this way, mate, instead of your postage stamp. Look, what's your take on that first half, mate? You've watched that. You've watched that first half. What was your take on it?
Well, for the first 45 minutes, I think we were pretty much non-existent. I think we were just gave them far too much space. There was no press there again. Last 5 minutes seemed to be almost lively. It showed that stats. Apparently, we've had 5 shots on goal. Not that I can see where we got 5 shots from. They've only had 6, to be fair, and with 1 shot on target, which was the goal. So going off that, of stats on that, it's apparently a close game. Then if you look at the ones that we've talked about already, the possession, the amounts of passes from Leeds and stuff like that, and we're actually outplayed in that department as well. I'm just going through looking at the squad while we were talking, then looking at possible changes you could be making for the second half. I think we definitely need to make some changes at half-time if we want to get back with, because 65, 70 minutes, the game's going to be gone by then, unfortunately. I do believe if that last 5 minutes is anything to go by, we might be able to get a point out of this. The way that we've been playing, we've got to go back to a flat back 4 second half. I'll be contemplated to actually bring on a defensive change as well and actually bring Mankiw on for Murphy. Move and then play the back 4 with Mankiw, Shaw, Lascelles and Lewis. Move Hayden into back in the midfield. I'll take Shelby off. And then I'll bring Sam Maximin up in place of. Let's have a look. I'm trying to look where love Shelby.
Okay.
Go play with Hendrick and Hayden to start with, just in front of the back two. Let Hayden just literally sit. Let Hendrick try and get about for a bit. See if the actual, the Maverick Maxi can create something. For the first 20 minutes or so. Then, if not, if we're still looking to get something in the game, I'd then go to a 4-4-2 but like a 4-4-2 diamond. Leave Almer on, and I would take Henrik up and put Gale at the top with Wilson, and then go for it, really attack them. Technically, you're looking at what Maximan, Almiron, Fraser, Gale, and Wilson. That you should be able to get some chance created out of that, and get yourself back to the game with something like that. But that's something I might do, something the lads might do, but whether Bruce will do that, probably not.
I think if they pump that 5 second, that 5 to 10 second snip from you into the dressing room and Steve Bruce could listen to it, we might get something out of this game, Rich. But unfortunately, we've got Steve Bruce in the dressing room, and
To be fair, I think if any of us did it, it would be exactly the same, though, Steve. If any one of us could go in that dressing room, we could probably give a more motivational speech than anybody in that dressing room there. I don't know if anyone else has got, I know Pete's got a coaching badge. I've got a level 1 coaching badge. I tell you what, I could probably go in there and motivate some of those players, but more than anybody on that coaching stuff. Because the people turn around and say about he's coaching without a badge now because he's been in management so long he gets a diploma. So what? Technically, that's not the way the FA are coaching people now and stuff like that. Any one of us on the air could go in that change room. We could get a kick up their arse and we could get something out of those players. Some of them need an arm putting around them, and some of them need to go. There's not a single one of those lads on that pitch who've got an ounce of confidence. No. And that's what they need. Every single person. We know that those lads, when they played for Rafa and before, they can do a job, and they have done it before. But they need to be told that they can do it, because not one single person looks like they're scared of making a mistake in it, and that's the issue. They're not trying things. They're not trying that a little cute pass that can get someone or take out the midfield or take out the defence. There's just no confidence there. But every one of us on this team could walk into that dressing room, give them a passionate speech, and I tell you what, you'd get a different team in the second half.
Rich, very passionate and great words, mate. Big thanks to our sponsor. We've got Old Coach House Distillery with us this month. World's first alcohol-free distillery. Visit their website and enter the code OCHD to claim your introductory 10% discount and get the most out of your mindful dry January. Big shout out to them. Ginesque is the drink. And big shout out to qtechshop.co.uk, makers of pool tables and snooker tables in Wallsend in Newcastle. They also make our t-shirts. We always have a t-shirt up for grabs as well for the food bank. So if you get onto my Twitter at Steve Wraith, you can bid for Sab's t-shirt, which is up for grabs with Fabian on as well. So please bid for that. It's all proceeds to the food bank. Also a big shout out to Jab, who make our flyers and promotional material. Get yourself onto Twitter and give Jab a follow. Good evening, Martin. How are you, mate?
I'm all right, lad. How are we?
Good. Good to see you, mate. Better than the team anyway. What's your take on that? Have you managed to watch the first half?
No, I seen about the last 10 minutes of it, and I was only really glancing. So Leeds had already scored, but I was kind of scoffing the Chinese. So I suppose if I want to line up my 10-minute analysis, it looks like my Chinese had a bit more spice to it than the game does from us. And probably by the time it goes through me, I'll have more pace in our midfield. So... yeah, it was. It didn't look good, so I'm sure the lads have been watching more than I have. But I seen the team. Lucky I never ploughed the car into the motorway in Dublin coming home, but no pace, slow. I mean, 5 attackers on the bench, 5 at home again, no legs in midfield. Doesn't make any sense to me. I would have preferred. I think Rich and myself were talking earlier today. I would have liked to have gone with a 4-2-3-1, but it's just, slow, no legs. It's readable and completely predictable from Messrs. Bruce again, unfortunately, Steve.
It is, mate. It is. Please, if you're enjoying the video, we've got over 540 people watching tonight, which is massive for Matchday Live. We really appreciate you following us and watching the live stream, and thanks for all the kind comments which we put up on screen. All you need to do, subscribe to the channel. We've got 7 nights a week with different people on, and give this video a like, and also drop a comment in. And if you're feeling brave enough, We do the 5-minute rant on a Monday night where you get a chance to come on and vent your spleen as well. But please subscribe to the channel just by clicking that little emblem down in the right-hand side. And if you want to share it, it shares to your Twitter or your Facebook or your LinkedIn or whatever social media you've got connected to your computer. All of that is free. We don't charge for any of this production. Babbo, back to you, mate. What changes would you make in the second half?
My God. I mean, Hendrik has to come off. I don't understand what he's doing. You know, I think I might be wrong about this, so you guys should help me out. Fabian Schär is one of the best ball-carrying defenders I have seen. Would it make sense to play him as a defensive midfielder in front of the back four and have Hayden and Longstaff in the middle? Because right now, Shelby can't run to save his ass. We all know that. He knows that. And I'm not sure what he keeps doing because he just, you know how Shelby runs when he puts his bald head to the ground and he's not even looking up anymore because he's like, there's no way I'm getting there. That keeps happening. And I'm like, at a certain point, where do we find it? Because now we'll bring on ASM, and then when it gets to 70 minutes, we'll bring on Carroll, and we'll start playing Route 1, which we all know that is his game plan. And I'm just like, where do we start? First, we need to go forward at the back because this 5 is clearly not working. Push shot towards Shaw or Hayden towards the midfield. Because what I've realized is that every time Shaw gets the ball, he goes towards one of the wings and then plays a long ball. And I'm like, you might as well just do that from the center. That's basically what he's doing. Hendrik has to come off. He hasn't done anything. Callum Wilson needs more support, and I can't remember who was saying it earlier that he's getting frustrated. I think it was Dave. He's getting frustrated, and that's been game in, game out. I'm very sure he regrets choosing Newcastle over Villa because now he's just like, I am just stuck here against 4 defenders, and Bruce is expecting me to get some goal from somewhere. It makes no sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all. You know, good shout by you, good shout by Rich about substitutions. Martin, what would you do to change this second half? Oh, you're on mute, mate. You're on mute.
Sorry, guys. I would take Shelby and Hendrik off, like Rich said, and bring on Maximan and Gale. I don't think we've ever had them all in the same team. Have we? Fraser, Wilson, Maximan, Gale. I don't think they've ever been in the Almiron all in the same team before. I don't seem to remember that. I think they've all been on sort of fit or not, not in the same team. So I think to have that sort of attacking lineup, just try that. Just try and do something. Just attack. Stop messing about.
225 minutes since our last shot on target is being confirmed. What do you think of that?
It's just, this team is so capable of more, isn't it? It can do it. It's just set up to fail, isn't it? Every time.
Yeah, Rio Ferdinand's on tonight. He says Newcastle are very playing conservative, whatever that's supposed to mean. Jake Humphrey, of course, a man who Newcastle fans do have a lot of time for, says it's difficult watch for Newcastle fans. He's not wrong.
Yeah, and just going back to that St. Maximin Gale incident, I think there is unrest in the squad now. I think they're sort of turning on each other. And although he said it in jest, what Gale said in jest, there was like that hidden meaning in there that he actually meant it as well. You know, when you've all done it.
Yeah.
I think that's what I think. And if you look at his body language as well, I watched your body language show, Steve. That was very interesting.
It was, yeah, it was.
He was looking down at the floor when he said it. So he actually meant it, but it could be seen as a joke as well. And you could see that Maximan at first was a bit peed off, I thought. And then he just laughed it off at the end. So I think there was something in it. And I think it's just the way the team is at the minute with Bruce. I think they're all starting to turn on each other.
Yeah, I mean, it was the look that he gave Dwight Gale, wasn't it? It was. Yeah. It was. You know, I picked that up, and of course, the only people who know whether that was tongue in cheek or whether it was deliberate are Gale and Sir Maximin. But yeah, I mean, you know, we broke the story on NUFC matters that, you know, he wasn't going down to the Crystal Palace game, you know, that he was booked on the flight and didn't go. And, you know, there was talks of a bust up. There was, you know, talks of, you know, physical altercation. All of it was allegations. But, you know, there's no smoke without fire. And it's quite clear that some of these players will be feeling aggrieved at the way that they've been bruised. And, you know, some of them will be feeling aggrieved that they've been essentially, you know, omitted from this team and the squad. And I'm afraid to say that what happens when that, you know, what happens is you get people who leak from the dressing room, and there will be players, Martin, who generally will leak from the dressing room. So the media will be picking up little tidbits, and eventually that gets out. And the worst thing that could have possibly happened to Steve Bruce this week is him banning the written media, because as soon as you do that, then if there is a leak from the dressing room, that's just going to get worse. It's just going to get worse. The pressure's going to be on him, and if we get beat tonight, we go into the Everton game. If Steve Bruce is lucky enough to still be in the job by the weekend, it's you know, the pressure is going to become, you know, too much for him. Pete, we'll come to you, mate, as we see Steve Bruce emerge from the tunnel, and the teams come back onto the pitch. No changes by the looks of it. I'm just double checking before we see the kickoff. Shelby kicks the ball off. No changes, Pete. So, you know, what do we do to change this game?
Well, I'm not surprised by the fact that there's no changes, and I'm even more disappointed about the fact that Steve Bruce has come out for the second half. I was kind of hoping that Charlie had done the deed during half time. We actually took the game to Leeds second half without a manager. But you know, there's wishing. Look, I think Rich and Babu made fantastic shouts with regards to half-time changes, and I would agree. I think we need to go Hayden in midfield. We need to go 4 at the back, and we need to push guys up front. For me, I think we need another striker up there. I think we need to have a bit of a presence in the box, because in that last 5 or 10 minutes before half time, we actually looked a little bit more of a threat. We're actually going for them. But when balls are going into the box, you've only got Callum Wilson there, and you know he's already been marked by 2 centre backs. You throw someone like a Carroll in there, or a Gale, or somebody else that's a genuine threat, either from a height or from the ability to score a goal, then you're going to put the defenders in front of even more pressure. And the people that are playing the balls into the box have got more to aim at. You know, we talk about the delivery in the box, and that's all well and good. But when you've got one person to constantly play that ball to that's easily marked, you know, it makes it very, very difficult to play the right ball. You know, I'd definitely go with that. You know, if you had given me a choice between Shelby and Hendricks to go off, I would be getting Hendricks off right now. He offers absolutely nothing. Like I said, I think it was like 35 minutes in the game before I'd even realised he was playing. At the very least, Shelby will tick the ball over a little bit in midfield and keep the ball ticking. Well, I might have to change my decision after I've seen him play that ball there. But you know, they would be my changes. I'd be getting Longstaff in midfield to really kind of try and get forward as a midfielder. We haven't got that midfielder that arrives in the box, and if you've got that and the Carroll really pushing, you've got an opportunity. And then my third sub would be St. Max, and you could have either done that at half time or you do that at 60 minutes. But either way, you know, they're the three subs I'd be making, because we need to go attacking. We need to have that mentality now, is if to say, you know what, fuck it, let's just go for it. And if we lose to the 3-0, so be it. Let's just fucking go and attack this team. Because unlike the other previous games since Sheffield United, we've actually got an opportunity to really disrupt this Leeds defence. This Leeds defence are not as good as Arsenal's or Villa's. They are shaky. But we just need a better attacking intent.
Chris Hall, good evening, mate. He says no changes at half time. Francis Benali in the studio says Bruce has to change this soon.
Oh, dear.
2-0 to Leeds, is it?
What?
No, he's pulling it back.
Is he?
Yeah.
I was going to say, what a shit.
That would have been justly uncertain. If that had gone in, you'd have gone, do you know, your look for the season is just tanking. Because if that goes in, you're going, here.
Yeah,
it's up my hand. was off his hand.
It was off his hand, yeah. I mean, it was basically Dallas coming through. He fell on the ground after a challenge by Hayden, and the ball came back and hit his hand and went in. Everyone appealed for the handball, and the referee gave a free kick, but the ball did end up in the back of the net. Chris Hall says, no changes at half-time. Francis Benali in the studio says, Bruce has to change this soon, surely. He obviously doesn't watch us much. He's right. He is. He's right, isn't he? Al-Walid, how are you? You're looking very chilled there.
I'm trying to thinking what we should do, because I noticed the Leeds players that they take back the ball very quickly. They have big control in the middle field. They take the ball very quickly from us. And when the ball for have it, when Almiron has it or if Fraser has it, you'll find 3 players from Leeds around him, and it's frustrating. It's frustrated, really. We need a change immediately. This is not working for the. We will continue the same until we get second goal. Wilson going behind as well. They are better than us in number.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, what would you change? It's got to be in the midfield, hasn't it, Al-Walid?
Of course, we need. I know Shelby and Hedrick, they are not doing well, but I can't blame him very much because they have 5 players around them in the middle field, so they can't do anything. They can't see even front because they get tackled easily because they are better than them in number. So we see Fraser and Almiron going also try to get back. And there is no player. It's tactical thing. At least we need Saint Maximum as an extra, not just take one by one. If he take Almiron and put Saint Maximum, it's the same. We are not doing anything. Someone from the back must be out for Saint Maximum at least. It's easy. It doesn't need much thinking from Bruce.
No, you're right. Okay, Newcastle United 0, Leeds United 1. 51 minutes played. St Maximin takes a swig of water and starts warming up alongside Dwight Gale and others on the touchline. Chris, it looks as if we're going to see a bit of ESM. Can he change the game, do you think? Can he be the one who injects that little bit of pace and just something a bit different? Can he get us back in the game?
My doorbell might ring right in the middle of my commentary, but yeah, I think he's not, like as Pete said, he's not good for a full game, but he might be good for a half. I don't want to injure him if he's still not back to full fitness. But yeah, I throw him on there, see what he can do. All is not lost. We're down to 1-0. It could be worse. It feels like we're down 2 or 3-0 already, but free goal. Okay, there we go. I got it.
Okay, mate, no worries. Shane, Newcastle have a corner. We are pushing forward a little bit as Chris's Deliveroo arrives. Have to find out what he's getting. But yeah, Newcastle corner. We'll stay with this as Shelby's over the ball at the Gallagher end. Usual suspects are forward. Shelby takes the corner and it's cleared by the defence. Yeah, not much happening there.
That's another thing. Why are our corners so rubbish?
Yeah.
Aren't they? Always rubbish.
Yeah. That's a shot on target by Almiron anyway, but safely gathered by the Leeds goalkeeper. So yeah, Shane, St Maximin, we're expecting to see him come on, but Newcastle are pressing a little bit further. 38% possession at this moment in time.
Yeah, just going back to the point that Martin made, I don't know why Shelby's on the corners still. I know against Arsenal, the goals that we conceded were from the corners. I mean, directly from the corner.
Yeah.
That's a free kick. All right, hello. So, a little bit of activity going on. I mean, we're looking more positive this half. We look like we're pushing a little bit further up, which is good. We're not sitting as deep as we were in the first half. I think to a certain extent, the players have to start taking some sort of responsibility for this. I mean, there's an element of self pride going on here as well. I mean, no one wants to be in a team that hasn't won for weeks on end or hasn't scored on weeks on end. So, I mean, at some point, the players collectively have to come together and think to themselves, you know what, even if Bruce sets it up like this, we're going to have to change it. But I mean, the signs are positive. I mean, we look more attacking, so let's see what happens.
Okay, Liam, just stay with me. Shelby floats a free kick in, free header for Lascelles, but he puts it wide. ASM, I presume he's going to get on at some point. He is warming up, Liam. Do you think he can? Do you think he can make a difference in this second half?
Hey, I'd like to think he would. Yeah, like I said before, he was quite good when he came on against Aston Villa. He just had a little sort of burst of pace that sort of caught the Villa players off, and I think he could do the same to Leeds United. I don't think he played against Leeds, did he? When we played them away from home.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know. I don't think we did. So
no.
You know that they'll not be used to him. They'll not be used to some forward thinking. So I think it will be very interesting if he does come on.
Yeah, I think it will be. I mean, look, he's going to get 20 minutes, I think, 20, 25 minutes, but he's certainly the one who is up on his feet and warming up a lot. Newcastle certainly looking a lot more dominant, and another ball whipped in, which reaches Wilson, but Wilson puts his foot in and it's caught the goalkeeper's head. It didn't look that serious, to be honest, but seems a little bit of afters, but it's all clear now, and the goalkeeper's up on his feet. It wasn't too bad. He's just clipped him with his boot. But yeah, Newcastle still losing 1-0. Rich, coming to you now, mate. St. Maximum, he's it looks as if that's going to be the answer. But as Leeds make another substitution, Steve Bruce still no further forward, getting that board up and making the change.
No, I don't think it must have been his coaching rule book to get it up before the 65th minute, was it? But I think we need him on. We need that creative spark. I don't know if anyone else knows. I know Almiron looks to be playing up. I don't know if it's just on the way that the step is, so when they're coming out from the back, but Almiron seems a lot further forward. This half is always gone too up top. I don't know if it's just me or the way it is when they're actually coming out from the back, but Almiron's starting to get it around a bit like he did it in the game at Villa. He's trying to get going. He's trying to put a press on, trying to put a bit of pressure on. The goalkeeper doesn't look good on the ball when he's pressured. So that's something perhaps we should follow. But yeah, I think we need to get Maxi on straight away, because I think we need that creative flair. We need something just to. I think that's what this team's going to need. We're going to need a spark of something, and it's probably going to need a little bit of magic to just try and bring some life back into this team. Because at the minute they're just going through the motions every single week. And yes, I know Maxi's that.
Yes!
So I'm behind.
Get in there.
I am a bit scared to celebrate. I am a bit scared to celebrate. I don't like you. I'm finding it very weird now.
Last time we didn't do that.
Finally, at this stage, that rattle need WD-40 on, does it?
To be honest, it's a wonder I knew where it was, lads. The rattle is alive and well, and it's still working. I'm going to give it another one. But yeah, Almiron through one-on-one with a goalkeeper and tucks it away. Wonderful goal out of nothing. Shelby with the pass. A nice little layoff by Wilson, straight in the path of the on-rushing Almiron, who took one touch and then fired it past the oncoming keeper. Looked up, nice little check, and then nice side foot with his right. Goalkeeper got a hand to it and palmed it into the net. Steve Bruce does Alan Shearer on the sidelines. Lascelles celebrates with Almiron, and Newcastle are back in the game, 1-1. Rich.
Yeah, I was just saying Almiron was looking a little bit better.
Yeah,
but, I would still make the change though, because we like a Gaelic flair player at Newcastle and stuff. And, you never knew what you were going to get with a Bast, and I think that's what frustrates some fans. But that's also what some fans do, because he creates something out of nothing, and they haven't played against him before, so they won't know what he's capable of. And it's the one thing I think he can actually cause them a bit of a nightmare, because they're predominantly still a Championship defence that came from last year, and he is a better player than the Championship level defenders. So I'm hoping, you never know. I did say 2-1 either way at the start, so I'll say 2-2. So you never know. Hopefully, some of the lads like who said 2-1 at the 2 might get something for a change.
Martin, football's a confidence game. We know that. Is that the stroke of fortune that we needed? Is that is that going to maybe give Newcastle the impetus to go on and win this game?
I think for me now, I agree with Rich. I get Maxi on there now and just go at it. Like, it's 1-1, as Pete said before. So we may as well go at it. Bruce surely knows if he loses this tonight, it's got to be as close to game over as it's going to get. If Jones is coming in, then he knows he's going to get. If it's not a sideways shove, he's certainly going to be under more pressure. So get some maximum on there. Go change it up. Go 4-2-3-1. Get somebody in just behind Wilson, whether that's Fraser or whether that's Almiron, and go at them. Rich made the point. So did Pete. This Leeds defence is there to be got at. So if we don't go for it, then we're not going to get anything on the result. So yeah, get him on and let's just go at it. I'd rather well not lose, but I'd rather lose 3-1, but be going at it than go down with a whimper. So get him on and let's just go all guns blazing, all out attack.
Yeah, I would agree. It would be nice to see that. Whether that will happen or not, who knows? In the other early kickoff, West Ham are still leading Palace by 2-1. And Newcastle,
give it to him.
Newcastle pushing forward again. We'll just stay with this.
Go on.
Newfound life within the Newcastle team. Almiron running down into a blind channel and hitting the ball against another midfielder and wasting it. Leeds look to break and get it out of their own half. Babu, 1-1.
Oh, I was writing my notes down. That's the first time we've combined this game. That's the first time 3 Newcastle players have had touches in between themselves this game. Can you imagine if we could have 6 or 7 of those happening?
Oh.
It's just insane. This is a good opportunity to him with.
Fucking defender, man. What? Who's marking? Who's marking?
Leeds United 2, Newcastle 1, and all that good work that Babu was just talking about. All of that good work that Babu was just talking about, undone by another bit of lazy, lapsadaisical defending by the Newcastle team. The ball was sprayed out wide. Again, Leeds attacking the Leeds' end. Had all the time in the world in the midfield. Midfield not doing the job again.
Murphy. Is that Murphy not back? Hayden and Murphy looking at the same player.
Oh, my God. That is just awful. I've got to be honest, Harrison took his goal well. The ball bounced once. He hit it with the outside of his left foot and curled it round Darlow. I mean, both goals have been good ones. But he had time to stop, to set, and then just hit it with the outside of his goal. I mean, that's a
peach in fairness.
It is a peach of a goal. Steve Bruce has his head in his hands. And,
No one's even looking at him, though. He's everybody. No one can even see it.
No,
it's insane.
I think Darlow could do better there as well, to be fair.
It's a fucking gift. It's a gift. It is. In the second half.
It's shit defending though, Pete. Again, nobody looking at the players.
Jacob Murphy's position. He should be on that man. He should be behind there. Like, how would you have 5 defenders and not be able to pick up one man?
But this is the problem playing 5 at the back when he's playing 3 central and 2 wing backs. Is Murphy and Lewis, their automatic thought is to get forward. So they get caught out.
Newcastle on the attack.
Who's arriving in the box, man? Who's arriving in there?
Shelby actually did something there, which is a rare event. He actually beat a couple of men with a little bit of skill, but there was nobody arriving in the box, and that's why Pete's getting quite animated there. Shaw's got the ball in midfield now. Newcastle pushing, trying to get an equaliser. Almiron flicks the ball up. Murphy, hits it. Rises into the Gallagher and hits my old seat.
You know what's actually encouraging? We've had more than one shot, so that's good. I guess it's encouraging, according to Mr. Steve.
that could have gone anywhere, to be honest. But that was it was the right thing to do by Murphy. I've got to be honest. He hit it with the outside of his right foot, and it just curled away of the upright. It wasn't a bad effort, to be honest. But Newcastle 2-1 down, 63 minutes on the clock. We're coming up to substitution time, Martin. It's where we go. This is it, 65 minutes. It's becoming a running joke on our commentary now, Martin, that Newcastle tend to make substitutions around about the 65th minute. Are we going to see this substitution now?
I would also just like to remind there's two Martins on the panel all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I've turned my mic on. I've turned my mic on and off 3 times now because of you.
Should I call you Deck? Yeah,
that'll do. Yeah,
lads, we've got breaking news. We're on 64 minutes, and Alan St. Maximin is coming on. Steve Bruce breaking the habit of a lifetime. It is not 65 minutes. It's 64 minutes. Is the new 65 minutes.
No, his watch is slow. He forgot to wind it up.
Yeah, I think so, mate. I mean, this is the substitution we were hoping for. This should have come as soon as Newcastle scored for me.
This is the last roll of the dice, I think, from Bruce.
It is.
West Ham score again.
West Ham 3, Palace 1. Dawson with the goal. Yeah.
I thought Bruce was getting... his job is safe till the end of the season at least.
Yeah.
No?
Well, I mean, that was a comment in the... Look, I mean, we touched on this briefly at the start of the show, right? And for me, that was an article in the Chronicle which had no substance. There was no quote from Mike Ashley or Lee Charnley in there. It was just, that is the assumption. I think it came from a Keith Downey tweet. And that is, unfortunately, the kind of journalism we have to put up with as fans now. Something goes out on Twitter and somebody then sits at home and writes it up and goes, this is what's happening. It then goes up as a banner headline on a website and everybody goes mad. I've seen a lot of frustrating things in the last 24 hours. I could really go on a rant about that, about some of the stuff I've seen about the takeover, which is absolute bollocks. And stuff which has just got no substance whatsoever. And people who've got agendas and narratives have put stuff out there which I think is absolute codswallop. And the talk about the likes of me and the Three Amigos, misleading fans. Some of the stuff I've seen in the last 24, 48 hours has been embarrassing. But we'll keep that for the 5-minute rant show with me, Pete and Chris on Monday. Newcastle pushing on again, and Lewis is standing and looking bemused. ASM is. Steve Bruce has got his head in his hands. Lewis managed to get the ball, did the hard work, beat his man, ran to the edge of the box, and yeah, he put it wide. Just put it wide. Waste of time. He should have squared it.
He should have squared it. Fucking garbage.
Pete, come to you. It's always good to come to you when you're animated.
Honestly, this is pissing me off big time, right? Because this game is here to win. Honestly, the Leeds heads dropped when we got that goal, when Almiron scored that goal. We had our tails up for the first time in, 10, 12 games. We had our tails up. We looked like we could cause the problem. And then we gift them such a shit goal. Murphy deserved to be subbed for that. I'd have subbed him straight after that because that's just absolute laziness, right? Laziness to not track his man or know who he's marking. It's a joke. It's not like he was marking somebody else. It was just laziness. It's not understanding his position, right? It's just laziness and not tracking back. It's just an absolute fucking joke. And we've had 2 or 3 good chances since, and it's just poor finishing, right? And it goes back to that video that you put on Twitter, Steve, about the finishing before the game, because you can see it right there. Players just don't look like they can even hit the target. It's a joke. I'm not being funny, but Lewis had all the time in the world. He even took a touch. Right, you keep that one low, you drill it into a corner. You don't put your foot through it and try and clear the panics. You know what I mean? But he's been in that position before. He scored goals that way. It's so frustrating because this Leeds team are here for the taking, right? This is the most attacking we've been in God knows how long. Like, we've got attacking players on the pitch, and we're just throwing it away. We're throwing these points away. These are points to keepers in the goddamn league. It's so frustrating.
I've got the way I'm going to compare this, and most of you know that I'm a professional boxing promoter and manager, and the way I'm assessing this at the moment is, basically Leeds are setting us up. It's like a fighter teeing his opponent up for that right-hander that's coming, and that's the way I feel at the moment. Newcastle are getting invited on by Leeds here, and they're going to catch us with a sucker punch. They're going to knock us out with a third goal. That's what's going to happen. I can see it coming. Al Walid, a bit of excitement. You were the man who predicted 3-2. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You've got a knack of getting a lot of scores right. I didn't see goals in this game. Certainly nothing for Newcastle after 14 hours, without a goal. But 2-1. It's 20 odd minutes left. It could still go that way.
It's going to be interesting. 20 minutes. The goal. It's like, I don't know how to say it in English. We call it in Arabic cesarean. It's like the woman who deliver the baby very hard, take a long time process. So I compare this to our goal. Finally, I think this is last goal since Gail.
I don't think Lee Ryder will be using that in the Chronicle tomorrow. But if he does, it'll be obvious where it's come from. I've never heard of a goal described as a cesarean, but that's a classic, Al Walid.
No, this is what we say it sometimes here.
Well, so a bit like watching Steve Bruce's football is like a Geordie dentist tooth extraction.
And actually, Murphy did great in attacking way, but he didn't cover any. He did 2 mistakes, cost us 2 goals. That's why he been taken off. As Pete said, he doesn't understanding his complete role. But I'm still optimistic. I think we see difference when we see Maximin, and we have 4. I think Wilson. I think he close to do something.
I've got to laugh. Sean Mullen says Bielsa squatting like he's going to curl one out. That's got to be the best thing I've heard all day. Like, honestly, I came onto this podcast in a bad mood. Like, honestly, it's cheered me up no end despite the poor football. Chris, 20 minutes to go. ASM's on the pitch. Has he made much effect, do you think?
He's got the pace, and he goes at everything he does. Goes at the goal. I feel like everyone else on the club, like they can't sort of point towards the goal. They want to pass back to Darlow and kind of be conservative. And one thing about St. Maximin is he's like a heat-seeking missile for the goal. He's not going to score a lot of goals, but at least he knows where the goal is, and to go at the goal. And if you go at the goal, good things happen. But he's just been a bit sort of a step or two too fast, pacey for to link up with our other teammates. So it's like you kind of ask him to do everything. He needs to be kind of the catalyst and to integrate himself into the club. Because if he's just running around dribbling, most often things don't happen from that. But you'd rather have him be on the pitch than not.
Yeah, fair enough, Chris. It's a bit like watching an episode of The Water Margin or Monkey Magic with you at the minute, because every time you're speaking, like your picture's behind with your voice. It's a bit weird. It's like watching one of those badly dubbed, programs. Did you ever watch The Water Margin?
I have no idea what that is.
You've got to watch Monkey. I've got the box set. It's great. He used to do this and then jump on a cloud. It was great. You've got to be of a certain age and vintage to remember that, mate. But yeah, Shane, are you watching Monkey, or are you still watching the match?
I'm actually watching it. I'm actually watching it. Is it gone for a corner? Maybe not. Maybe. I'm going back to St. Maximin. I think he's offered more in the last two minutes than most of our midfielders have offered us in the last 2 months. So he's playing really, really well. He's taken everyone up a couple of yards upfield. Yeah. As Pete was saying, Leeds are there for the taking, and we look like scoring. I think, as you said yourself, Steve, I think Leeds are set up in a way that we are pushing up further and further, and I think we can get caught on the counter attack. But look, the football that we're playing now is the best I've seen us for the last 4 or 5 weeks. So yeah, kind of happy. Can't really complain too much.
It's bizarre, isn't it, that you can be happy and we're getting beat 2-1 at home off Leeds.
Absolutely. That's just the way it is right now, isn't it?
It really is. Liam, I think Monkey and Water Margin are probably a little bit too old for you, mate. But honestly, I would if you want a little bit of entertainment, I would recommend getting Monkey. Honestly, it's class. In fact, if we ever get a chance to meet up again, mate, I'll make you come round to mine and watch an episode. It's hilarious. Pigsy and Trip Attacker, what a midfield, says Steve Watson. But yeah, I mean, look, it's 73 minutes on the clock. Newcastle 1, Leeds 2. What's it like watching other people watch a game that you're not watching, Liam?
I'm going to be honest. I'm mainly just happy that I got to see everyone celebrating a goal, and I saw you got your little clanger thing, whatever it is.
The rattle.
Yeah, the little rattler. Yeah, I think you will need some DW40, like someone said before. It's very, very weird because obviously reactions are delayed from certain people. I see Pete's reaction first, and I just see him go, "Oh!" for every miss that we have. So yeah, it is very weird, but I'm enjoying it. I'm sort of just sat because I've turned my telly off now. I'm sort of just sat watching all yous and listening to yous now. But no, it is fun. I'm having a good time.
Yeah, good stuff, mate. Thanks for being part of it, Rich. You've got the logo completely on your forehead now, mate.
Aye.
The side profile. That's it. That's
there you
it.
go.
I can see you now, mate. What's your views, then, mate? Can we get anything out of this game? Do you think Newcastle haven't sat back? They haven't let their heads go down. They have pressed and tried to get back in this game. Can they do it?
I think they can. I think keep the play the way they have. I think with St. Maximin coming on, it's given them something to think about because there's a couple of times we saw when Lewis hit the post there. Lewis had an acre of space because they're now concerned about the threat that he poses, that Maximin poses. So they're worried about him. So that is going to create space elsewhere on the pitch. Almiron's just full of running again. Looks as though he's had his Duracells changed at half time. I don't know. It's frustrating how we can't start a game like this. It always takes us, halfway into the second half to start becoming a team that we can be. If we started the game.
Oh, Dave.
I'm behind. If it's
Shelby header.
It's frustrating. I don't understand why we just can't play like this from the start. Why does it take us going behind or after half time trying to get something from the game? It's just that's the frustrating thing for me and probably the rest of the lads on the show as well.
Yeah, Shelby with a header which was tipped over. Newcastle with the resultant corner. ASM, the ball is broken to him in the box, but that's gone out. And that's a goal kick. For anybody who's interested in Monkey, of course, there's the cast, and that's a then and now photograph. That's Monkey in the top corner there with the rather dazzling gold ribbon round his neck and red top. Trip Attacker was often was the priest. There was always a lot of confusion as to whether that was actually a boy or a girl. It was actually a girl. The sad news is that girl actually died when she was quite young, 21 or 22. The guy looking like a pig, that is Pigsy. Not sure whether that actor is still alive, but there was two Pigsies in Monkey. I was always a bit confused about that. I was only a young lad, but why Pigsy changed, I didn't understand. And the guy at the end there is Sandy, of course, who was a water demon, I think. Used to have a rather fetching staff which was made of skulls, and it was a very interesting program. If you get a chance to watch it, I'm sure you'll find a few on YouTube, but that's your 1980s TV show education slot.
Funny story there, Steve. I've actually got a mate who's nicknamed Monkey Magic.
Fantastic. Well, that's where it'll come from. That's where it'll come from.
Definitely comes from there.
Yeah, fantastic. Last 5 minutes, guys, and this is Martin as in Anton Deck Martin. This is loaded football weekly, Martin. Hold on. I'll get this right. Hold on. There you go, Martin.
Thanks,
Wednesday, 9 o'clock.
Tomorrow,
9 o'clock on this channel.
9 o'clock. Tune in. Yeah, we'll be on. A couple of bits going on. New quiz. We've got a guest and a couple of other bits going on. So yeah, join us tomorrow night, 9 o'clock.
Good stuff. 75% possession for Newcastle in the last 5 minutes, Martin.
Do you know what? It's last 20 minutes we've been okay, and we are still in the game, albeit we are behind. We've a chance to get something out of this, but I would also lay down the caveat that we've also a chance to get caught by the balls and go 3-1 down. So we could go either way. The funny thing with the panel thing that you put up there with the Pigsy, I was just thinking about anybody that's just tuned in, looking at those 8 pictures and going, what the hell's going on with the panel tonight? Steve Wraith and Martin are looking awful at the bottom. I don't know what's going on with Chris.
Chris looks the same. He's underneath the logo in the top right-hand corner.
Yeah, exactly. What the hell has happened to Daz in the bottom right?
But yeah, Daz doesn't look right. Daz doesn't look well at all. Like, and that's for you. You're wearing one of those weird hat things.
Yeah,
next to me in the top there. Yeah, I've got to be monkey. I've got to be monkey. But it's good. Good crack. To be
fair, Liam, you don't have to watch this one. They've remade the entire series, so you can watch.
No, they haven't.
They did.
Exactly. We're going to remake it. Yeah.
Yeah. An Australian cast.
Matters Magic.
Fantastic.
Yeah, they did. I think they're in their second or third season now. So.
I'll have to find a completely legal stream to download that off.
I like how you had to state that you find a completely legal stream.
Babu, 10 minutes to go. There is a match going on. Newcastle are still losing 2-1, which is normal, but there is a bit more effort. 75% possession. We might still get something out of this game.
Babu, you have to know that around here, illegal streams are a sore subject. And that's why we're very.
You live in London. It's Del Boy's Peckham Spring that you're talking about. We're talking about downloading stuff. But hopefully I might be able to get it. But go on, Babu.
I mean, to be fair, right? As you guys have already stated earlier, we could play football like this from minute 1. But for some reason, we're waiting for Steve to go, oh, yeah, it's the 5th minute now. Okay, you guys can start playing now. It's almost like he's just right now being like, you know what? If they fire me, I get paid a shitload of money. So fuck it. Let's play 5 at the back every time. In fact, guys, when they're running towards you, run the other way. Keep going to the goal because we don't need you to defend. It is so annoying that the same people that drew with Manchester City 2-2, last year? I mean, it's been ages since we went to the stadium, but it's still the same players. The same players. They drew with Liverpool. The same players, and they'll go to Leeds and start acting like little. Let's just leave it there. It's just annoying. But I'm not sure why Carroll is not on now. You have Gill, you have Wilson, you have Saint Maximin. Launch a long ball towards him and let him elbow someone and get a foul. That's basically what he's been doing.
Yes, Gale is on the pitch now, so 10 minutes to go, plus stoppages to make a difference. Martin, I have found a picture of you in Monkey Magic. That's you after a night out on the gin, I think, or the vodka.
Oh, where is anybody? For God's sake! Where is everybody? Nobody's in the box.
Pete,
I think Pete needs a gin.
Pete, every time I come to Martin Bailey, you go off on a rant. I'm going to stick with Martin Bailey on this occasion. He missed his turn last time because you were shouting and bawling. Martin, we've got 8 minutes to go. Newcastle pressing for an equaliser.
Yeah, do you know what? You may laugh, but Alan St. Maximin, I'd give him a go up front. I would, because he's got the pace and he can finish. So if he's on the last man, he can probably outpace him and just whack it in the net. That's how I play FIFA, by the way, because in his position, he's down as a winger or a striker. So I thought I'll give him a go up front. And I've just finished the season actually, and he scored 45 goals for me in the Premier League. So he did, yeah. So just give him a go up front. I'd actually give him a go up front with Wilson sometimes, see how he gets on. But obviously they need the service, don't they?
There's a lot of things which make sense to us but don't make sense to Steve Bruce. Unfortunately, that is the problem. Let's go to Pete. He's getting animated. He's getting angry, and St. Maximin's on the deck. Is it a free kick?
Yeah, 100%. It's a free kick. But it just goes to show that if you've got the ball at your feet and you're willing to run with it, like Shah did 3 minutes ago, like St. Maximin and Almiron are doing, you can carve this team open. They don't like players winning it, girl. And this is the thing. We haven't had enough of this. Right? If we'd have had this in some of the games that we played in against Arsenal, Sheffield United, we'd have beat Sheffield United 3-0 playing like this. We really would. It's so frustrating that we've had to go and get to a point where we're 2-1 down to start really going at teams with less than 10 minutes to go. So frustrating.
But the thing is, Pete, there's no defender in a league, in any league, in Sunday league, in amateur ball. You're always taught, if you're a defender, the last thing you want is a striker or a winger with pace running at you, bearing down on goal when you are going backwards towards goal while keeping an eye on him. Yeah. It's basic football. Defenders don't like to be ran at.
Yeah, you see what you said now? That is basically what the Newcastle defenders have been experiencing all night. You know you can't keep up with them, then don't let them run. Be tight to them. If they are running at you, someone just take him out. It's fine. You get a yellow card, at least you know that you're safe then. But they'll wait till the person gets into the 18-yard box, and then they'll start acting like they want to be defenders then. It's useless then. The only thing you can do is just hope they don't go down.
We need to fuck off this defensive mentality. This 5 at the back needs to fucking go. You know what? Right, we've got nothing to lose right now. The way that we've played in the second half, right, we've got nothing to lose going into the next few games. This 5 at the back needs to be shelved. I don't care who's in charge, right? Get 4 at the back. Get players running at them. Go on. Hey,
Newcastle pushing forward again. Leeds managed to get it clear. Albany, will come to you. You're getting compared to Tim Krul, Chris. Did Tim Krul enjoy his Deliveroo? I can see a bit of a likeness there. Did you enjoy your Deliveroo, or have you not had it?
Yeah, no, I had it. It was all right.
It was okay, good. Do you like the comparison to Tim Krul?
My hair is getting pretty long. Yeah, I always used to be called my friends thought I looked like Pirlo.
Right, okay. Al-Walid, 85 minutes played, 5 minutes to go plus stoppages. Rodrigo booked. Newcastle and Shaw booked as well for an altercation. 4th booking of the season for Fabian Shaw. Newcastle 2-1 down. Can we get a point out of this game, Al-Walid? Are you still confident?
Yeah, for the winning we can't. I didn't think so, but there is a goal, and it's easy to see a goal either for us or for them. But I'm happy with the team now, and as you said, guys, we should do this from beginning. But this is the thing I'm angry about. Next game, we'll back five at the back, same old.
Yeah, I mean we're just watching a replay of what happened there, and Rodrigo got booked, I think, for basically feigning an injury. Shaw got taken out. He's got a bit of blood coming from his lip. Trying to say that there was a headbutt there. It didn't look like a headbutt to me at all, but both players are in the book, and that is that. Chris, coming into the dying part of the game, can we get anything out of this, Chris?
No. Normally, again, Newcastle has sapped all my optimism this season, and other events opposite have sapped my optimism. So I'm not a pessimist now, but I'm more of a realist / towards fatalist. They certainly looked at a different team in the second half, and like the lad said, where was that effort and shape and attack in the first half? I'm tired of sort of a tale of two halves. We need to play a complete game. Obviously, my friend from the States texted me when we scored and said, "You guys haven't scored in a while, haven't you?" And hours. But certainly we didn't.
Fucking hell, man.
We didn't take that goal and change the momentum and sort of put the goal back to our old ways, unfortunately.
Yeah, Leeds making another push towards Newcastle's goal, and 88 minutes on the clock, and the ball is at the wrong end of the pitch, Shane.
Yeah, it certainly is. I think one of the most frustrating things, the best time I've seen us play, apart from this in the second half, was Arsenal. I think we do play well when we go into games or go into halves with the mentality that we've got nothing to lose. Absolutely agree with what the guys have said on the panel. Playing 5 in defence, you have to fuck that off ASAP. looking at this performance in the second half, you kind of think that we had enough to stay up, and you would think we have quite a lot of goals in the team as well. But I guess putting the ball into the back of the net is another question entirely. But I mean, there are positives to take out of this game. We're not going to pick up any points, or I can't see us picking up any points now with 2 minutes to go. I mean, there are positives, but then against Everton away going into the next game, we're just going to revert to the way you were in the first half, unfortunately. The merry-go goes round.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit naughty this game now. Lots of afters and pushing and handbags, and Harrison is in the thick of it again there. Newcastle have a free kick inside their own half. Shelby standing over the ball, pumps the ball forward. Where's it going to go? We do win the ball, but Leeds defenders clear, and it gets back towards the halfway line. And is it going out for a throw-in? It is. It's out for a throw-in. So 1 minute of normal time plus whatever the referee's got on his clock, Liam. Looks like we're staring another defeat in the face.
Yeah, it looks like it. I just saw a comment that said it's going to be our 10th loss in a row. So 30 points, no points whatsoever. I cannot believe that. I mean, the results have to speak for themselves, you know. I don't know what Mike Ashley's thinking right now. Steve Bruce has got to go, without a doubt. Steve Bruce has got to go. I would have done this about 4 or 5 games ago, really. I think for us, the only way is down after this if we don't make immediate changes. The people are there to come in. You know, we've not signed anyone in this January transfer window. We've only got a few days left of that, so it's just looking very, very gloomy around Tyneside.
It is. Rich, Leeds have got a corner.
Yeah, well, about 10, 15 seconds behind you, so you'll probably know a bit better than me. I don't know, depending how much stoppage time left, you know, I said 2-2, so I'm still hopeful, but I don't know, you tell me what happens with the corner and if we break away, because I say I'm slightly behind you. So.
It was a poor corner, to be fair.
Yeah, I've just seen it, yeah, comfortable save for Darla, wasn't it?
Yeah.
As I said earlier, I think that there has been optimistic signs in the second half, but it's always too late. Why can't we do it, as we said before? Why can't we do it from minute 1? Why do we have to wait until like the last 20 minutes or so when we're chasing something? This team can play when they want to. I don't know if sometimes the fact that Bruce has got the shackles on or something, and it seems like he's went and said, "Look, just go and play your game," and then all of a sudden they've been able to do a bit better. I don't know if it's 4 minutes on the stoppage time. It'll probably be about 3 minutes back. How far ahead you are. So I don't know. See if we can get the equaliser. I won't give up yet, but see what happens.
4 minute stoppages, Martin. It looks lost. Newcastle did have that little bit of push on and a lot of possession, and St Maximin looked as if he was going to make a difference, but Leeds seemed to have weathered the storm.
Yeah, I mean, from a positive, I took Leeds to win 2-0 tonight. So look, we've scored, but I did see Leeds winning it. We've been better this second half than I think we've seen us play in the last 10 games. It would be my opinion. I think the 5 at the back has to be ditched. Next game for me against Everton is going to be 4-2-3-1. Matty and Hayden in midfield, flat back 4. And then the attacking 4 that we've got there now, Wilson, maybe just slightly forward, Fraser, Almiron, and ASM for me, start against Everton and go for it. On the negative, unfortunately for Bruce, again, despite I'm sure he'll say a bit more encouragement, it's a results game, and staying in this league is about getting results. And it's another L in the column, unfortunately. And that's all that counts, really.
Yeah, Babu, 2 minutes left. No way back now, I don't think.
I mean, to be fair, they have shown a bit more fight in this game than they have in the last 10. So if there's any positive, I think that's one. Maybe I'm drunk on despair, I don't know. But it's just, for Everton, for the game against Everton, what are we looking at to start? Like, what? Like, even looking at Bruce's face annoys me more than what they are doing, because he doesn't have the way you see Pep Guardiola screaming at his players, even when they are winning 2-0. Bruce is just there, like, yeah, same thing. At the end of the day, I'm going to go home. I'm going to get paid, and it's frustrating because even the players have lost belief in themselves because the manager doesn't seem to be bothered about what they do. And if we are lucky enough for Steve to see God and play a 4-2-3-1, we do stand a decent chance against Everton. And I would literally say Hayden and Shaw as defensive midfielders. Because if you want to play a defensive game, those two are your best ball playing and ball advancing players I've seen. I mean, St. Maximin can run from halfway, but if you have those two ball carrying players there, you do stand a decent chance. So I'm not sure if the inclusion of the new coach is going to help anything because I don't know where it's coming from. And as I said, I was just like, we're getting a shit manager, and then the person we're hiring to assist him doesn't even know what he's doing. That's why he went back to being number 2 from number 1. So it's like we're just gathering the defects, and we're saying yes. If we gather enough defects, we'll get one good thing.
Full time, Newcastle United 1, Leeds 2. Unbelievable. Expected. Bielsa's got his hands on Bruce's shoulder, giving him some words of advice, probably telling him to enjoy his retirement. At least that's what we hope. Martin Bailey, because we've fallen on you, you start off the summing up of that game and then give us a man of the match, please. And tell us, do you think Steve Bruce should be sacked tonight?
I do think Steve Bruce should be sacked tonight.
Oh, we've lost him. Martin, we'll have to come back. Pete, we'll come to you next. Same questions to you, really. Do you have a man of the match? Tell us about your thoughts on the game, and do you think Steve Bruce should be sacked tonight, mate?
I'm fucking gutted. I really am gutted. Right? None of us had any hope of this game today. But the way Leeds came out today, we should have fucking won that game. At least got a point. We should have, in those last 5 minutes, we should have been pushing to get that second goal to win us the game, not chasing a 2-2. It's just fucking so fucking frustrating. They're the kind of results that we're going to look back at and we should have got something from that game. That's where we could have got the points from. And that's why I'm so frustrated, and that's why I'm so animated and pissed off about it. Because that second half was better, right? And a better manager would have got us something in this game today. These are the games that last season we probably would have picked something up from. That's deflated me more than I was before the game. I wasn't hopeful at all, but the fact that they've given us something and we've still lost the game makes me feel even worse as a fan. Bruce needs to get the hell out, right? I've said it before and I'll say it again. Someone like Eddie Howe, right, can come in with an attacking mentality and get these players playing. Those players for 45 minutes showed us that they've got attacking intent. We need a manager that also has an attacking intent. And we don't need them on a 2 or 3 year deal. We need them for 6 months, less than 6 months. That's all we need, right? Someone like Eddie Howe, someone like a Pearson would absolutely snap their hands off to come into Newcastle, right, and be manager of this club for 5 months, right, and with an attacking mentality, someone that knows how to get players forward. With these attacking players, right, fit and firing, we would be right up that table because, we're worried about the 7-point gap, but I tell you what, there's not much of a gap between us and 10th place, but we need the manager. We need a manager that's going to get these players playing. And it's so frustrating, right? Someone's asked in the chat, why are we gutted? Why am I gutted? I'm gutted because actually they gave me a little bit of hope today. And that's what I wanted as a Newcastle fan. I wanted a little bit of hope that actually there is some life left in this dead club at the moment. And for 45 minutes, they've given me a little bit of hope. They've given me a little hope that actually they can play. Those attacking players can put a half-decent performance together. And they've shown that. But it goes back to the point that we need a manager that has that same mentality, that has those tactical ideas, that can actually get us further up the pitch to cause problems, right? And is built in a way in which he can construct that and put that together. Current manager can't do that, right? And so we will go back into Everton on Saturday and get absolutely stretched and tore apart. That's why I'm frustrated. So I'm so annoyed. Right, Miggy Almiron for me is man of the match. Miggy Almiron, the whole game was fantastic. He was isolated at times. But he worked his socks off, and that's not why I'm giving him man of the match. When he got the ball, he drove forward. He committed those defenders backwards. He created problem after problem after problem, and he was involved in the goal. And he scored the goal. Right, he was very, very good. Maximum was good when he come on. Wilson looked alive again. For that second half, he actually looked alive. He looked like, actually, I've got players around me that want to attack. And he looked a little bit alive, and I want to see a bit more of that. I just want him to be a little bit more selfish. I want him to get the ball, and I just want him to think, you know what, fuck the rest of you. If I'm in the box, I'm going for goal, because that's what a striker's all about. He wants to be selfish. He wants to score goals. You look at the best strikers around. You look at Alan Shearer. He didn't give a fuck about Bellamy. He didn't give a fuck about Duncan Ferguson. He didn't give a fuck about anybody that he played alongside with. He just wanted the goals. And you know what? We need a striker like that right now. So I want him to be a little bit more selfish. Am I confident about going into the Everton game? No, because we've still got Bruce in charge. And I really hope that this doesn't spur Mike Ashley to give him any more chances, because we've still lost the fucking game.
Yeah, Al-Walid, strong stuff from Pete. How do you feel? By the way, there was a 3-2 tonight, Al-Walid, but it was at Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace losing by 3-2 to West Ham. West Ham now climbing the table. One of the favourites, I think, by a lot of people for relegation. But at this moment in time, Palace West Ham on a fine run of form. So yeah, Al-Walid, give us your views on tonight's game, your man of the match, and just an answer to that question: do you think Steve Bruce should be sacked tonight? What is that? A Saudi cabbage?
Looks like a bag of piss, man.
This is my opinion of the match. Almiron is the best player today.
And should Steve Bruce be sacked?
Of course.
Wow, and that's, you're very level-headed, Al-Walid. It's got to be hard for you to say this, because there's the stats that everybody needs to see. Tim has tweeted it: lost, drawn, lost, drawn, and then just a big line of L's. So yeah, Al-Walid, can completely understand your opinion, and not very often you're stuck for words. Chris, to you now, mate. Same question to you. Your opinion of that match tonight. Do you have a man of the match? And should Rafa Benitez, should Steve Bruce be sacked tonight?
It was rubbish. I predicted 4-1. So I guess the best can be said about that match is that it was closer than 4-1. 2-1, it didn't quite feel as close as the score would suggest. Obviously, they had some signs of life in the second half. And then Almiron played well. He became my man of the match. St. Maximin had some pace, but as long as Steve Bruce is the manager, they're hopeless. They've got no shape, no direction, no leadership. We're going to be talking about more players fighting with each other, or splits in the dressing room. So I think the sooner that Steve Bruce is out of the club, the better their chances would be to turn this around. Because if Mike Ashley waits until typical 8 or 10 matches left in the season, like he did with McLaren and whoever Shearer replaced, then it's going to be too late. And you can't bring a manager in with 8 or 12 matches to go and expect this club to turn it around. It needs to be turned around. If Bruce is not out in February, this club is going to go down. I would sadly predict, but so hopefully February is going to be the match, because it doesn't look like Bruce will survive January. But and no one will be brought in. We'd be lucky if we got a loan or two, but I doubt we'll get loan signings, because that's even difficult for this club. So nothing positive to report going forward. Some signs of life in this game, but not enough to even get any kind of result going forward. The next couple matches, I don't see where we get points.
Yep. Okay, Shane, to you now, mate. Same questions to you. Do you think Steve Bruce should get the bullet tonight? Do you think he should get sacked? And just give us your views on the game and your man of the match.
Yeah, I'll keep it really, really, really quick. And just quickly, I know Fulham have 2 games in hand, and the next game's against Brighton tomorrow, and then West Brom. If they win those 2 games, they're only 2 points behind us. It's getting scary. I mean, with the game tonight, it's all right seeing spouts of good football for like 10, 15 minutes, but it's nowhere near consistent enough. Should Steve Bruce go? Yeah, he should have gone months ago. Will he go tonight? No, not now. The number 2's coming in. Man of the match, Mingy. Do I think we'll improve going into the next game against Everton on Saturday? No. Yeah, that's basically it, mate.
Okay. Liam, you didn't watch the game tonight, but you've listened to all of us, have a laugh and moan on and groan on, and you've seen the highs, you've seen the lows. But what's your take on the situation with the manager tonight? Bielsa had a long chat with him at the end of the whistle. It almost seemed as if some people in the chat feel as if he was apologising because he feels as if he could have, been the man who's, caused the axe to fall, if you like. But do you think it will fall tonight?
Well, definitely more lows than highs first and foremost. And, Bielsa might have said that, and if he hasn't, he's spot on. I do hope that he was apologising that he's going to get sacked. I think after tonight, I do hope to see a club statement on social media or on the Newcastle United website, just whatever. I don't think I can bring out a man of the match just because I didn't watch the game, but I am definitely hoping that Steve Bruce will get sacked either tonight or in the morning.
Okay, Rich, on to you for your review of the game, your man of the match, and whether you think Steve Bruce should be sacked tonight.
I'd like Bruce to be sacked tonight. I don't think he will be, however. I did want to just quickly ask, did anyone know whether Graham Jones has actually accepted the position yet or has been signed yet as such?
Good question. Formality, I think, is what Pete
the only
said.
reason why I asked is obviously they said that he wasn't going to be involved in the training pitch, but he might be in the stand watching tonight. And I just wonder whether he's watched something at half-time that gave a bit of impetus, like a kick up the arse that we've been saying for a while, because second half they were a lot better. I completely agree with what Pete said earlier on. I thought Almiron, he continually ran like he did in the second half at Villa on Saturday. He was I don't know. He seemed to feed off the energy that Maxim came on as well. You could see him trying to turn players and run forward and create. Even Shaw was bringing the ball out of the box, and he had a fantastic game as well. Something that one of the other lads said before is, if they're going to go to a 4-2-3-1 situation, possibly play Shaw with Hayden. To be fair, that's not a bad shout because the way he was carrying that ball and bringing the attack from that midfield, it's not a bad shout at all. Especially, I don't know, he had 2 shots on target tonight. Our centre defender had 2 shots on target, which that shouldn't be happening really. To be fair, it should be happening more up the pitch. But at least he was trying to take the game by the scruff of his neck. Man of the match to me was Almiron as well. Positivity for the Everton game. Once again, we live in hope as per usual. It depends on what happens on what teams pick, and it depends on whether he's still in the dugout. Which, as I mentioned at the start, unfortunately, I think he will be. Hopefully, if Jones is this shining light that's meant to take us forward, he can bring some impetus and fresh eyes and a fresh voice in the changing room, and possibly do with it having being from Gateshead and stuff like that. We know he's a Newcastle fan. He was at the club a few years ago. He might have a bit more passion in his bones than what the other supposed Geordie coach has.
Okay, thanks for that, Rich. Martin Bailey, it's your first game as part of the match day panel. Hasn't got off to a great start, but don't worry, Liam's been on 3 now and not seen a win, so you're following in good. You're following in good footsteps. Give us your assessment of the game, your man of the match, and your views on the Steve Bruce situation.
Yeah, so it was a slight improvement, I think, tonight. But was Mike Ashley at the game? Did I see someone write that Mike Ashley was there?
Lots of people talking about it, but no confirmation. I have tried to find out, but as yet, nothing. So if I do hear before the end of the show, I will let people know. If he was there, of course, that will give people optimism in the sense that they will think that Steve Bruce may be, going the journey tonight.
Yeah, that's what I maybe was thinking. If he was there, maybe that's why the players are given an extra 10% maybe tonight, because he was there. And if it went the other way, then Bruce is there to be sacked. He's going to sack him after the game, but who knows? But that's what I'd like to happen. The game was a bit better, but still, very disheartening. Really, I can't see if he's still in charge on Saturday against Everton, then I just won't believe it. To be fair, I was lost for words, really.
Yeah, I can understand that. Lee Ryder would normally have, confirmation if Mike Ashley was there. It's happened many times before. He said Mike Ashley's in the stands, blah, blah, blah. He hasn't. Derek Sharp says, come on, Steve, sing the monkey theme tune. Monkey magic, monkey magic, monkey magic, monkey, monkey, ooh. There you go. I hope that was good enough. Martin... Martin, see, you've got to get me on this loaded weekly. He's necking his wine. That my singing must have been that bad. Go on, then, mate. You were lucky. I had a Chinese in the first half. So what was your take on the second half? Because to be fair, the second half was better than the first half, and essentially you watched a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, it wasn't so bad. I think to answer the Bruce thing, he does need to go. I think unfortunately, the owner that we have from past tenths doesn't tend to get rid of managers until it's too late. That's been his history. Will he have learned anything? I very much doubt it. I think he is solely focused on this takeover and getting at the Premier League. And I think, by seeing Graham Jones coming in, I think it's just a steadying of the ship and a hope of Premier League survival, even though should we drop down, which, given the games in hand that Fulham have and some other results going against us, is a possibility. Game-wise, yeah, look, second half was okay. I thought we played all right. I think for the Everton game, if we start with 5 at the back against Everton, we get rinsed. I think we need to go 4-2-3-1 with the front 3 or 4 that we've seen from kind of 60 minutes on in that game there, with Wilson, probably with Almiron or Fraser just behind him. I would prefer Almiron because I think he's got legs on him. I think I agree with Pete and the guys. He was certainly second half that I seen, he was best player on the pitch. ASM came on and ran at defenders, and as we said before, defenders don't like that. And Everton's defence are there to be got at as well, by the way. But where we'll lose the game is midfield, because the likes of James and players like that at Everton will run rings around us. He played in great ball the weekend. Anybody that watched Everton play the other night in the cup, James was outstanding. So that would worry me. I think Rich's point about pushing Shah up into midfield, I'd agree with that. I think Shah makes a better midfielder than he does a defender in my book. So I think him and Hayden could be good, because Hayden can push that slight bit forward or drop back defensively, and Shah can do the same. But Shah, with 2 shots tonight, as Rich said, can obviously get forward more. So that's an option. I think he gives us more legs for a start. But yeah, second half, I think with a better manager, I listened to TalkSport today. I listened to Craig Hope on TalkSport, and he fairly got at Simon Jordan. And I've listened to a couple of other bits of pods while I was in work. Actually, I was working. I was listening. But with a better manager, those players are better than a lot of these channels and a lot of pundits make out. They're a good set of players that with the right manager, they will get this group to play. And it's as simple as that. The problem we've got is the guy that's currently in the hot seat as the current manager. I'm sorry, listen, might be a likable guy, but he's not going to get what we need out of this team to survive. And if the results go again, as Pete said, those few games in hand get won, we're in serious, serious trouble of going down, and make no bones. So Yeah, improvements, and I suppose to take Brucey's word, encouragement in the second half. Miggy player of the man of the match for me. But 4-2-3-1 with that quadruple threat and a change in midfield against Everton and go at them. I think this defensive needs to be dropped. It's too late in the day now, and if we don't start going for it, then we're as good as down, lads.
Yep, that's fair enough. Sean says, all right, lads, did you know the new coach was Martinez, assistant for Belgium in the World Cup? I think that was the case, grasping at straws. Yes, we did, mate. Yes, we did. Yeah. But if you check you check where he's been in recent years, Luton Town were almost relegated while he was there. When he left, obviously, they managed to escape by the skin of their teeth. He was involved as part of the management team under Darren Moore at West Brom. West Brom, of course, were relegated. And, of course, he was with Eddie Howe at Bournemouth. And, yes, you got it. They were relegated. So we are bringing in a coach who specialises in one thing. Relegation.
I thought, Steve, did he not come in after they went down and Jason Tyndall appointed him?
No, he was involved with West Brom.
No, Bournemouth.
And he was with Eddie Howe for a while. It wasn't long, but he was in there.
I thought he came in the August. Sorry.
Yeah, no, definitely. He was manager at Luton Rich for a good while and nearly took.
Yeah, I know he got that.
Specialist in relegation. Unfortunately, I know it's probably a bit harsh saying that about the West Brom situation because they were as good as down when Darren got the job. I think, but yeah, that's when failure follows you around. It follows you around, and that's not a good thing for Newcastle, I don't think. So, Babbo, we'll come to you again, mate.
I mean, I think we're probably going to turn up for the Everton game. For some reason, we always seem to turn up when we're expected to lose. And when we're expected to win, we then just play shit. Definitely, Bruce should go. I think we should just buy him a cabbage farm at this point. He needs something else other than football to do. He's bad at it. He should just resign and take his dignity with him. Man of the match, Miggy. He just has a different kind of resilience to him. He's like Shelby could learn from Miggy. Miggy comes up every game, puts 110%. And that's why I was wondering why Richie is not there. Richie screams at these fuckers. Richie will hit people on the pitch and be like, you need to start doing your shit. We need people like that on the pitch. We can't start having all... What did Lascelles do today? He didn't contribute to nothing. He's slow. He's out of pace. I'm like, why is he starting? Why does he have that captain's band? There was a time people had to earn the captain's band. It wasn't just given to you. Now he's just having it because Bruce was like, yeah, I came here and Rafa was there and he gave Lascelles, so Lascelles. No, so he doesn't deserve it anymore for me, personally. The players know they are good. We know the players are good. We watched these players play before. The only person who doesn't know these players are a good set of players is Bruce, which I'm very sure he did not do any research before signing up because he doesn't seem to know where they are able to play or what they are able to do or where they are going. And he seems to turn up to every game like as Grealish or Delap said, it's another nice game. Okay, let's just play. Let's just chuck them all over the pitch and see what they do. And unfortunately, it doesn't matter what amount of if that man is still there, there is no progress.
Yeah, I would agree. Lots of comments coming in. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You've been fantastic. Over 500 watching most of tonight as well, which is an amazing tribute to you lot. And a tribute to the panel as well, because you clearly enjoy listening to what they've got to say. And so do I. That's why we invite them on. So a big thank you to Chris A, to Shane, to Liam, to Rich, to Al-Waleed, to Pete, to Babbo, to Martin, and to Marty. Good to have you on, lads. Absolutely superb. And I think you probably should all get onto Twitter now and have a look at that video that I've just retweeted, which appears to show Rodriguez spitting in Fabian Schär's face. So that probably be the topic of conversation for the next couple of days, I think. I am back tomorrow night. A rather interesting show. Those of you, of course, who watch the channel on a regular basis know that Tuesday night is usually Liam's night. Liam Kennedy from the Shields Gazette. We're doing a 2-hour special tomorrow night. Liam Kennedy and Keith from NCSL. 2 hours of zebra talk with Spenny's new badge there. And we've got Spenny back at the weekend on the Matchday Live. But there you are, Spenny. We've included your badge. So, yes, Keith Patterson, not the estate agent. Liam Kennedy from the Shields Gazette. And me talking 2 hours of NUFC and NUFC takeover. I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions and a lot of people wanting to know exactly what is going on with arbitration, etc. So I'm sure we'll get a few straight answers, and hopefully Liam might give us some cheerful news on the transfer front, and you never know, we might even be discussing Steve Bruce's departure. Wait and see. But for the time being, Chris here, Shane, Liam, Rich, Marty, Martin, Babbo, Pete and Al-Walid, thanks a lot, lads. Been a great night, apart from the result, but that's par for the course. Take care, lads. Good night.
Cheers, lads.
Cheers, guys.
Hey, boys. Take care.